All right, all right. Thank you for joining me on this on the Gospel Truth. As you guys can see, I'm in a different location again. Last time you guys saw me, I was in my Airbnb on the other side of town. Right, so now I'm in the Airbnb on a different part of the town. Now, the other side now. So I'm in Texas. So as you can see, my studio that I usually rock out with is not here. It's not with me. You probably won't see the studio until we move into our new home. And so this is what we're rocking with right now. And so I thank you guys for joining me. And so as you guys know, this is an open panel discussion concerning Unitarianism, right? So last time I streamed, the open panel discussion was concerning oneness theology. And so we're going to continue the open panel theme, and jump into some Unitarianism. So I have Mike Temperano. I think I pronounced Mike's name correctly. He'll let me know if I messed it up. And I have Andrew Griffin with me. Both of you guys, all you guys out there who are watching so far should know who these guys are, as they are avid debaters, and they have made, this is Mike's first time being on the Gospel Truth, but Andrew has been on the Gospel Truth multiple times. So I am glad to have both of you guys in. So I'm going to bring these guys in so they can introduce themselves to you. And we're going to allow them to have the stage so they can tell us not only about themselves, but also about Unitarianism, right? As you guys know, the God's Truth is definitely here to provide a level of education. I do believe that the only way that we can properly interact with each other's positions is if we understand them. And so that's why I desire the Unitarians, those who represent the Unitarians, or oneness, Trinity, whatever you hold to come on this platform and dispense their positions, because I think it's very helpful to have a fair and articulate interaction with those you disagree with. So with that said, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Mike, for coming on. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be here. Yeah, first time on the channel, and yeah, you pronounced my name right, and I'm excited to get into this. Andrew, do you want to go first? You said to also talk about like just Unitarianism in general, sort of what we believe.
Yeah. You can introduce yourself, tell them where they can find you, on YouTube and so forth, and then guys can go in and give us a rundown of what the concept of Unitarianism, what's the position that you guys hold to. Give us a rundown on that.
I think you're muted, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Mike. So my name is Andrew Griffin. I have a small YouTube channel called Unitarian Apologetics, where I just jump into the Bible. I spend some time talking about the Trinity, but a lot of time just talking about the Bible, trying to extract meaning out of the Bible that we can all apply to our life. I'm a lover of truth, a lover of Christ, and been debating for several years now. Actually, one of my first big debates was right here on the Gospel Truth channel. Against Sam Shamoun, we debated the Gospel of John. And so I'm excited to be back here. I see Marlon doing big things with this conference coming up. And so I'll hand it over to Mike.
Yeah, my name's Metaphysics Mike. I got a YouTube channel dedicated to helping Christians break free from the traditional errors of the forefathers of the Christian faith. I grew up a Christian, but I think I was left bankrupt without knowledge of church history, about the councils, the creeds, also an in-depth knowledge of the scriptures. And the more I studied it out of a genuine heart, Jesus actually changed my life. The gospel message delivered me from addiction. I'm currently married. I have 3 children. Again, it's a blessing to be here. And guys, I think the Bible is explicitly a Unitarian revelation of God. And the biggest issue has to do with contradictions, right? The doctrine of the Trinity is the only doctrine that's allowed to contradict itself and then be justified by mystery. That's a problem. We don't let any other doctrine do that. Number 2, I think it undermines the true humanity of Jesus. Folks, the gospel message is that Christ was made like us in every way, that he was tempted like we are. And that is how he redeems us from the curse that we obtained through Adam. This is why Paul says things like, since by one man all were made guilty, by one man all will be made righteous. If Jesus pre-existed as some eternal spirit being, he's not a real human. Jesus is more like a flesh suit in Avatar. I think it compromises the gospel. But honestly, I don't think our faith our salvation depends upon many differences which are purely philosophical anyway. So I actually personally think how we treat each other, how you are as a person, as a husband, as a father, as a follower of Christ. I think God cares far more about those things. But unfortunately, man's traditions make the word of God of no effect in our life. Trinitarianism is one of those doctrines that leads people to self justification through the affirmation of dogmas. Folks, the greatness of our God is not in the complexities of his being, but in the simplicity of who he is. And Unitarians affirm that Jesus is what God would be like as a man. He reveals what God is like in his nature. He's the Son of God, born of a virgin, raised from the dead, exalted to the right hand of God. And that truth is powerful. I'm telling you, that's what the Bible teaches. That's what the apostles teach. And I'm so ready to defend that tonight.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and so I just want to add a few things just to sort of get started. So I've debated a lot now. Like I said, I've debated for several years, just countless hours of conversations, and through all of that experience, I think I can point to three irrefutable points of contention against the idea that of a Trinity, and which also proves Unitarianism true. And these 3 points of contention concern identification, predication, and equivocation. So first, the term identification. So according to the law of identity, which is just one of the most basic fundamental laws of logic, it says that a thing is what it is. For instance, if you say that the Father is God, then you must say that God is the Father. Okay. And so, but if you go on then to say that the Father is God by identity, then you say the Son is God by identity. According to the law of identity, you must say that the Son is the Father. And the only way that this you can get around this is then to say, if you want to say the Father is God and the Son is God, and the Holy Spirit is God, then you must be using God in a different sense. You're using God in a predicative sense. And the problem with that, the biggest problem with that is that scripture, the overwhelming majority of instances of the title God are used as a personal identifier for the Father alone. Also, we see never in Scripture, and this is even affirmed by Trinitarian scholar Mary Harris, nowhere in the Bible does God equal Trinity. God is not never used as a group name or as a class of being
Mm.
that one can merely be. It's used as a personal identifier for the Father alone. Okay. Now concerning, for instance, if you read John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, you should read that for the Father so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. It's used as a personal identifier, denoting the identity of God, who is just the Father alone. Now, if you want to say now that someone is God in a predicative sense, okay, you're just describing certain qualities about that person or saying what they're like. You're not referring to identity. So we see several things in scripture called God. We see human beings called God. Satan is called the God of this age. Yet we wouldn't say he's God by identity. It's only by predication. It's only this title, which he's called God. We even see Jesus called God by predication as the Messiah.
Andrew froze. Is that just for me? All right. I see you again. You're back, Andrew. Please continue.
Yep. And so, also, when we have the proper personal name Yahweh, this is the proper personal name of God. Proper personal names belong to proper persons. If you were to say that Yahweh is not a group name, it's not a class of being, it's a proper name like Daniel or Stephen or Mike. Okay, so if you were to say that the Father is Yahweh and the Son is Yahweh and the Holy Spirit is Yahweh, then you would have three persons, three proper persons with the proper personal name Yahweh. Therefore, you would have multiple Yahwehs. And I don't think anybody would agree with that. And so the third point of contention is we see a lot in, and I think this is unconsciously done by Trinitarians, is that there's an equivocation on three pivotal terms, namely being, person, and will. And so being can be used in two different senses, and we often see that meaning switch in mid conversation. And again, I think it's unconsciously. I don't think that it's intentional. So you can use the word being as in the sense of something having real ontological existence. It actually exists. So you see, Mike is a being. I'm a being. Marlon is a being. We're three beings, but we all have the same being. So here, being is being used as in a synonymous with nature. Okay, so we're three beings who have the same being. So we're going to see an equivocation. I think we'll see this all throughout the conversation. And we see this with persons too. Well, what does person mean? If it means an individual substance of rational nature, a center of consciousness, each having their own will, then and they're separate persons, then each one of those persons is a separate being, even if they have the same nature. That's three beings who share the same nature. And we also see with the word will can refer to looks like I'm froze up. I don't know. Also, with the word will can be a standard of behavior that one conforms their behavior to, but also will can refer to an individual volition and the ability to choose. Based on these 3 points of contention, unless these are addressed, I think that the doctrine of the Trinity remains unbiblical and incoherent, respectfully. Thank you.
That's good. I don't know how much time he wants to give us, but man, that gets me fired up, Andrew. That was so well said. And something I think that's worth adding here is, logic is a great tool. Logic is valid. Logic is how we reason, it's how we think. And a lot of these logical terms, including Greek philosophy, isn't wrong because it comes from the Greeks. The problem is when Greek philosophy drives your theology, okay? And that's what happened following the first few centuries of the New Testament of Christ. These concepts like nature and being, like Andrew's talking about, had to be debated. They weren't settled. They weren't even fully defined until the end of the 4th century. And then they had to be further debated at the Council of Chalcedon, and we could go on and on. So I think that's another factor, is that it's not biblical, it's not historical, and the problem is not just logic, right? That logic is great. The problem is that through Greek philosophy, they've adopted Greek theology, okay, and that's not what we're to do.
All right. Thank you guys for that. We appreciate that. Definitely helps us get an understanding where you guys are coming from. So I do want to bring the those who are going to be first interacting with you. I got JP and I got Seth Bloomberg. And Seth and JP, they have been on before the Gospel Truth. Seth, it's been quite some time for Seth, man. Seth, y'all don't understand. Me and Seth go way back, right? Me and Seth, we go way back to back in 2018, I think, when Gospel Truth first even started the channel, man. So me and Seth, it's been a while, man. So it's been a while, it's been a long time. And everyone knows JP as well. So JP, that's my guy, that's my dog. We communicate on a regular, every day pretty much. Me and JP texting or something, cracking a joke or something, some form of communicating. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. So yes, you guys are the first ones to interact with the Unitarian position. I want to emphasize this is not this is about Unitarianism. This is not about Trinitarianism. Though I know the term will come up, I just want to make sure we emphasize that the Unitarians are on a hot seat. You guys must defend your position biblically or historically or whatever you want to say, right? So I just want to make sure we emphasize that. Once again, Trinitarianism is not on a hot seat. That is another open panel discussion. And so with that said, JP, Seth, you both have heard the Unitarian position. You heard their concerns, your thoughts. So I'm not sure who first wants to go and interact with the subject matter, but you guys have the floor.
Would you like me to go first, Seth? You're the OG. You're the OG here, so I don't want to,
JP, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so I'll ask you guys a few questions, cross-examination style. But if you guys want to ask me a few questions as well, you can. There is a couple of things I do want to cover. I know we're very early on. So I know Mike has wanted the smoke and Andrew has wanted the smoke for some time. So, here you are. I am here for you guys, and you guys can do as you will. I'm willing to have a good charitable conversation. So, am I up to par with speed? Like, is my voice matching my body? We're good?
You're fine. Yep, you're
Okay,
fine.
cool. All right. So my question to you, Mike, would be: has anyone seen God's face
Poetically, yes.
poetically?
In the sense of seeing, like, so when Jesus says, "Those who have seen me have seen the Father," that's talking about in the sense of understanding of his
Who did Abraham
character,
see in Genesis chapter 17?
a theophany.
Who was that theophany?
Okay, so that is Yahweh. Okay, so tell me, is God not powerful enough to take the form of an angel or a human?
Yes, yes, he could do
Right.
that.
So so
But wait,
done. Argument done.
no, the argument's not done
Yeah, it
because
is.
nevertheless, the angel in Genesis 17, which we will call the angel of the Lord, called himself mighty God. And so Abraham did see his face because that particular person was God. So regardless, he saw God's face because Abraham ate with God. So it doesn't say that he ate with a form that wasn't God, but actually it was God poetically. It says he ate with God. Now we could go over the verse if you wish.
Okay, so those are two different things. One is poetically, like when Jesus says, "He who has seen me has seen the Father." That's in the sense of understanding. Then you asked about the angel of the Lord, and about who Abraham saw, right? And I'm saying
Mhm.
that's a theophany. So number one, the word angel is a distinct ontology in the scriptures. Angels are a created being, like it says in Hebrews chapter 2. You have made him, meaning man, a little lower than the angels. So there's God, angels, and man. Angels are a distinct ontology,
Bro,
and
going off the rail.
they're no, I'm not. And they're messengers,
Mhm.
right? So the angel of the Lord is the messenger of the Lord. As Andrew has said
Can I
many
share my
times,
screen real quick, Brother Marlon?
a messenger is sent by another. He's commissioned by
Very, very
another.
beautiful. So, Mike, I'm gonna hold you to your word. Brother Marlon, you're the mod here, and Seth, I'm gonna hold you accountable as well. Notice what he said. He said that this particular person was sent by God. It wasn't God. So, Brother Marlon, I'm sharing my screen, but if you're having technical difficulties, I'll just read it myself. Let me know.
Let me see. You say you're sharing your screen? I don't
Yeah.
see your screen sharing. Oh, there it is. Now it is.
Okay,
No,
cool.
hold on. No, I don't see it. I
All
don't
right.
see.
Let me unshare and share again, brother.
Yeah, do it again. Oh, there we go.
All right. You see that? All right. Try to make that big screen. Just move the screen and replace it with Mike. There we go. All right, cool. Now notice that Mike said this was an angel that was sent and it wasn't God himself. But look at what the text says. The text says, when Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him. It doesn't say an angel on his behalf. Abram said to him, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless, that I may make a covenant between me and you, and may multiply you greatly. Then Abram fell on his face, and God said to him, behold, my covenant is with you. Now, if this were an angel that went in behalf of God and it actually wasn't God, it would tell us it was an angel that went on his behalf or something like that. But unfortunately, the text is very clear here that this was God. Abraham saw God. Abraham spoke with God. Abraham knelt before God. Now you see, Andrew already's running. Andrew's already running. Andrew, come back, my brother. Why are you running? Oh, that was Marlon.
Okay,
Marlon.
stop with the rhetoric, JP. Stop with the rhetoric. Already from this jump,
Trying to make
All
rhetoric.
right, all right, all right. But
Yeah.
where is Marlon?
Okay. So
Mhm.
this is not the angel of the Lord. You know that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
So when we're talking about the angel of the
no.
Lord, that's when everything I
Slow
said
down.
about angels applies.
Okay,
But
so
when we're talking about a theophany, that's not the same.
wait, hold on, brother. You didn't let me finish my response. If what I am saying is, let's be very clear here, is that is Jesus. That is Jesus.
Why doesn't it say Jesus?
Because in context, we know that no one has seen the Father's face and lived.
What are you
So
talking about? You said it's Jesus.
yes,
Why
it
doesn't it
is.
say Jesus? What does the Father have to do with
Why
that?
does it have to say Jesus? Jesus wasn't,
Because that's his name.
brother. Jesus, the name Jesus didn't come until the New Testament. You know that already.
Oh, so he didn't have the name Jesus prior to being
No,
born?
he didn't have the name Jesus until Mary gave it to him. But now, let's be very clear here. So in Genesis chapter 17, this is God. This is God. And Abraham ate with this God, whoever this God is, because I don't know what you Unitarians believe. Abraham ate with this God. Abraham
Hold on,
spoke
hold
with
on.
this
Let's
God.
stop right there. Let's
Abraham knelt down.
hold on,
Let me
hold
ask
on.
you.
No, just
Go ahead.
relax for a second.
I'm
We don't
relaxed,
need
brothers.
all
I'm
this.
relaxed. I'm
We don't need
relaxed.
all this
Listen, I'm from New
theatrics.
York City. Andrew, you gotta
Okay,
raise
I
your
got
mic,
you.
brother.
Yeah, I feel you.
Andrew, raise up your mic.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you want to say you don't know who God is for us, right? That's what you said, right? So
Well, I want to make sure that we are on the same page here.
no, you're taking this little like passive shot. So I want to be perfectly clear so we understand who God is. Okay, the God of the Bible is Yahweh. We've already said Yahweh is a proper personal name. Proper personal names belong to proper person. According to identity, only the Father is Yahweh. If you had another person and his name was Yahweh, you'd have two Yahwehs. So we believe in one Yahweh, who's the Father alone, the God of Jesus. So you can proceed now, just so we can
Tell us, JP, is Jesus Yahweh?
Yes.
Is the Father Yahweh?
Yes.
How many Yahwehs is that?
There are one Yahweh.
Oh, so Jesus is the Father.
No.
Oh, so then there are two Yahwehs then.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are
JP,
Yahweh.
answer the question.
Or one.
Answer the question.
But
Okay.
I see my verse isn't getting, because you see you guys come at my
And
red.
here you are evading. No, you're not going to evade. If Jesus is Yahweh, no. Let's stay on topic. No games.
Okay,
If Jesus,
mine, I'll address you.
all right, listen. If Jesus is Yahweh and the Father is Yahweh and Jesus is not the Father, then you have two Yahwehs.
Well, let's simplify this.
That's checkmate. It's
let me
over.
Help you out, brother. Please.
No, I'm going to tell you why. Because
hold on, Andrew. You said I could proceed, so let me help you out. We believe Jesus is God, the Father is God, and we believe the Holy Spirit is God, but yet we believe one God. Similarly,
okay,
we
but
believe
listen,
the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But I want to get back to the verse.
One second, JP.
Okay,
one second. Did you hear my introduction? Because I've already addressed this, and this is what I mean. It's checkmate. We already won this argument. I'll tell you why.
You have not, brother, because you're running from the Bible.
You're not making it clear how you're using the word God.
I am making it very clear. Brother,
God is not a class.
Andrew,
God is not a group.
repeat my argument, Andrew. Repeat my argument.
You said 30 seconds, and you gave me 5 seconds to cut me off.
Okay, go ahead, Andrew. You just said 1 second. I gave you 5 more seconds.
First of all, we agree Yahweh is the God of the Bible. Okay. Yahweh is not a group name. It's not a title for a class of being. Yahweh is a proper personal name, and proper personal names belong to proper persons. If you have two persons and both of them have the proper personal name Yahweh, then you have two Yahwehs.
Done.
It's not a group name.
Can I respond?
You have to understand.
Can I respond now? 30 seconds. I gave you 30 seconds.
But I'm just telling you, I already addressed the point in my opening.
30 seconds. My verse has not, Seth, and you're watching. Seth, my verse has not been addressed yet. I told them, has anyone seen God?
It up. You started talking about
Marlon, 30 seconds.
I want to tell you why it happened.
Andrew, please.
All right. Let's allow him to respond. Let's allow him to respond.
I
want to be clear.
Andrew,
why
I have
it happened.
feelings.
You said God in Genesis 17, then you brought up the angel of the Lord. You did that. You brought up two separate beings.
Yes. I brought up the angel of the Lord, but let's be very clear. But brother, I made it very clear. I brought up the angel of the Lord. Then I said, let's make it even more clear. It's Jesus, who we know as Jesus.
That's not clear. You're begging the question. You have to prove that.
You're not letting me speak, Andrew. You're not letting me speak. Andrew, see, and then if I cut you off,
all right, Andrew, let's allow him to cook, and then I'll let you respond.
Yeah, and Steph, if you have anything to say, brother, please, because I'm tired of beating on this.
Well, I think I can jump in and bring some clarity, I think.
Well, sure. So, give me 30 seconds because Andrew robbed my 30 seconds.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Yes, you can. So Genesis chapter 17 has not been addressed. Somebody looked at Yahweh in the face when the Bible is clear that nobody has seen the Father and lived. If the Father is only Yahweh and somebody saw Yahweh, literally Yahweh, then there is a problem. Because if somebody literally saw Yahweh, ate with Yahweh, now that begs a question. Who is that Yahweh if no one has seen the Father's face? Moses saw the Father's back, but he never saw his face. And as we see him laughing, still the question has not been addressed. In Genesis chapter 17, we see a Yahweh there. And in Genesis 19:24, we see two Yahwehs.
Okay. Wait a second. JP.
Steph wanted to bring
okay, JP, did I tell you that this is a theophany? Did I say that?
Yes, but
Okay, so then the question was answered. All right, JP, define theophany. What is a theophany?
a theophany would be when, for example, the angel of the Lord, or an example would be, some would argue, the bush, the burning bush, things like that.
Okay, it's a
So when
visible.
Jesus-
It's a visible.
pre-incarnate Christ.
Listen. No, that's a Christophany. You don't know what you're talking about. A theophany is a visible manifestation of God.
Oh, so I was
God.
right.
All right, JP, quiet. God is powerful enough. He is able.
So I was correct.
To make a visible manifestation. Okay.
Right,
So the visible manifestation is not equal to the Father. Okay, JP, if you want to complain about Andrew cutting you off, then I'm going to have to call you out for cutting me off.
I didn't know what I was
Remain quiet.
JP, he's correct now, JP. Let's allow
Mike.
Mike.
Say I didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, and you don't, because you didn't know the difference between a theophany and Christophany. Let me clip this. Future Michael, play the replay. Okay. Listen, JP, here we go. Ready? A theophany is a visible manifestation of God, and the physical manifestation is not equal to the Father. It's not equal. So you can see a theophany, and that is not the same as seeing the Father in his fullness. Thank you very much.
Okay, can I respond to that, Marlon?
Nah, let's
I'll let you respond. Hold on. I'll let you respond real quick, and then we're gonna get Seth in. Seth is standing there waiting patiently.
You're still yet to even make an argument. You're saying, well, God appeared here. Oh, that must be Christ. That's just begging the question and
begging the question.
Just pass it on to Seth. So maybe Seth can make
Hold on, Marlon. You said you gave me an opportunity to respond, right, Marlon?
Yeah, go ahead. Then I'll pass to Seth.
You can start by making an actual argument.
No, yeah, again. So Genesis chapter 17, once again, you're saying that he didn't see him in his full glory. So let's get this clear. First, you said that he didn't see him in his full glory. And then before that, I think you said it was an angel, but then you said you didn't say that. Fine. You know what I'm saying? Fine. But the point is that Abraham did see his face. And regardless of what capacity, he did see his face because he bowed down before him and he did see his face. So you're not letting me speak. So regardless, the Bible is clear. No one has seen the Father's face.
No,
yet in that particular you're not letting me respond.
No, you don't even understand the argument, JP. You don't even get it.
You understand the argument.
No, you don't.
You said it's a theophany, right?
No, first of all, you have to understand Hebraistically what it means.
Andrew, did you say it's a theophany or not?
I know. You have to understand what it means.
You're not answering my question. Did you say it's a theophany or not?
I did. I said it's a theophany.
It's a theophany.
Which you didn't know what it was.
Nevertheless, did he not see his face?
We gotta move on because we can't be here all night.
Of course, you want to move on.
Okay, I have one simple question, JP. Okay, so you're here in Genesis 17. I'd just like to know. Genesis 18 says that 3 men showed up to Abraham, right? You know this story?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so are all 3 of them Yahweh, or is just one of them? Right, just one of them. Yes. So interesting, he calls them a man. So when Abraham saw this man who was called Yahweh, is that seeing the face of the Father?
No, because he was.
No, so it's a theophany, okay? Seeing a manifestation of God is does not equal the fullness of the Father.
Okay, all right.
Marlon, all right. Let me answer.
Come on, man. We got. All right.
20 seconds.
Because you answer, and then Mike and Andrew's going to answer, and Seth is never going to get an opportunity.
Okay, so let me respond. 10 seconds. That's it. No, they didn't see the Father's face because that wasn't the Father. Okay? They were looking at Yahweh's face, who was the Son. So when Abraham laid before, he laid down before Yahweh the Son.
You don't get it.
I do get it.
You don't even get it.
Let me ask you this.
All right.
Does the Bible say that
if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer.
Does the Bible
because it's gonna keep going.
Wash. Argument is wash. You don't even understand the problem.
No, I want to show you. I want to show you the switch that he's doing because the Bible says
no one to respond.
No one has ever.
That's what I'm saying. See, we're gonna keep going back and forth.
God's face.
Anyways, whoever's gonna hop on here, just make an actual argument, please.
All right, Seth, you got it, man. What are your thoughts?
All right. There's actually a number of things I think I can address. But the first thing I have is a question, and then I want to lay some groundwork. So for Mike and Andrew, I would simply ask, in terms of possibility, would you guys say I'm willing to accept the possibility that God is one in one sense and three in another? I would just have to see the verses for it, or is it? Do you have an a priori presupposition that God cannot be one in one sense and three in another? So are you guys open to the possibility, or is it just a presupposition that it can't be the case?
Okay, so man, there's a lot that needs to be said to that. That's a great question, Seth. So listen, I am going to reject your distinction entirely. Okay. So there's no difference in reality between your being and your person. These things are coextensive, which means they exist over the same time and space. So I am going to reject that because it just doesn't even make sense, right? This is why if someone said they were three persons and was a human, you just think they were nuts. But when God says it, apparently that's all kosher. Okay.
Well, hold on. I'm not even using the terminology. I'm not even using the terminology of being or person. I'm simply saying one in one sense and three in another. Is that something that God could be, or are you rejecting it prior to?
No,
As
well, you have to clarify what you mean. You say one in one sense. What do you mean? Go ahead. If you want to spell it out. No, so your real question is, are we saying that we reject it automatically because we have some sort of presupposition, right? No, that's not the case. We reject it because it's not biblical.
Okay, good. No, that's helpful.
Yeah, but wait a second. Wait a second though. Too. Wait a second though. You said, can he be one in one sense and three in another sense? Okay, so that is clearly referring to the one being, the one nature, the essence, the substance, and three hypostases. So you said you're not using the terms. You're right, you didn't, but you're employing the concept. Right. That's why I said, well, I would reject the distinction.
You have to present us with a logical proposition, clear with your terms, so we can either affirm or deny it.
Okay, well, that's what I'd like to do next. So one of the things that I like to do is not even look at the New Testament when it comes to Trinitarian theology. There's a lot there. I actually like to start in the Old Testament because I believe that the Old Testament explicitly teaches Trinitarianism. It uses different terminology. You know, we all know that the New Testament uses the Father, Son, Holy Spirit for the Trinitarian terminology. The Old Testament uses the terminology of the Lord, the angel of the Lord, and the Spirit of the Lord. And let me give you a few examples. One of the best examples is Exodus 3. Depending on the verse that you look at in that chapter, whoever is talking to Moses is called God, he's called Lord, or he's called the angel of the Lord. So whoever it is, it's God, Lord, and the angel of the Lord. And there are plenty of other verses I could point to that identify or call the angel of the Lord God or Lord.
Okay.
And I can point to, hold on. And I can also point you to a number of passages. The one that's coming to mind, you might have to fact check me, is in the beginning of 1 Kings, where the Lord tells the angel of the Lord to do something. So there's a distinction between the Lord and the angel of the Lord. And the best single example would be Isaiah. The most Trinitarian verse in the Old Testament is Isaiah 48:16. The Lord is speaking. We know that the Lord is speaking from chapter 47. And the Lord says, the Lord sent me and his Spirit. So you have two different entities, both being called Lord, one talking about the other, and then you have the Spirit of the Lord. So I would point to passages like that. We don't even necessarily have to. We can go to the New Testament at some point, but I think that answers some of your questions about, like, well, who is the angel of the Lord? There are angels that aren't God, but there's a particular entity in the Old Testament that the terminology is the angel of the Lord. When that entity shows up, he is called God, he is called Lord, and then sometimes God tells him what to do, gives him instructions, or tells him not to do things.
Yeah,
so I would start. That's where I would start. And by the way, that's what explains, who has seen the Father. In the you guys were talking about that verse. Well, no one has seen the Father. No one has, but they have seen the Lord. They have seen the angel of the Lord. I mean, the elders in Israel spoke with the angel of the Lord. The commander of the army of the Lord, I think, is
you're stacking, Seth. A lot of stacking. Now we're on to like your fifth point.
Okay, let me finish with this last point. Just as an example, the commander of the army of the Lord is also the angel of the Lord. Is a theophany. Christophany, because one of the things that happens is Joshua worships him and he accepts the worship, as opposed to the angel in Revelation.
Yeah,
John
you got a
worships
lot
him and he
going
says,
on here,
"Don't
bro.
worship me." The angel of the commander of the army of the Lord accepts the worship, and then lastly, Jude says,
Lastly,
Jesus led Israel out of Egypt, and the Exodus 30 and 33 explicitly say the Lord led Israel out of Egypt, and then says the angel of the Lord.
All right, well, which one would you like us to address? Point
Well, let
number
me-
one
okay.
or point number
All
8?
right. Hey. Before you guys respond, I just want to emphasize this is not, the Trinitarians are not on the defense here, right? We want to make sure the open panel is about Unitarianism. So
Yeah.
I know Seth, I know you're just sort of answering their questions, but this is what happens. You know, you answer those questions, then now the Trinitarians defending the Trinitarianism. And I don't want that.
Gotcha.
I want. Now we're going to allow them to respond. It's only fair to allow them to respond to it, but I do want to make sure that we get on to criticizing, critiquing, or whatever Unitarianism.
Because
so
notice
that's the key.
Notice he didn't ask any questions. He made a bunch of assertions based on observations he's seen in the Bible.
I quoted the Bible several times. That's what I did.
Okay, anybody can do that, but it's about exegeting
like
the
the
Bible.
Bible.
So let me ask you something.
Where is my exegesis wrong?
Let me ask you something. Are you familiar with what a genitive construction is in Hebrew?
I know it. I mean, I've studied Latin and the Greek formally.
I'm asking you.
Do you know that's a no?
Do you know what a genitive construction is in Hebrew? So if you say something
possessive.
like
Genitive means possessive.
No, well
that's correct.
That's a type of genitive. That's a type of, you could have a genitive of origin or source or possessive, or you could have so when you see this title, angel of Yahweh, so that there's two nouns which appear next to each other in the Hebrew. There's malak and then there's Yahweh. So we want to know, how do those two nouns relate to each other? Okay, so when you have this title which says angel of Yahweh, this is a genitive of origin or possession. This is an angel sent from Yahweh, and this is an angel that belongs to Yahweh. What's incoherent is to read this as an appositional genitive, which says something like the angel Yahweh. Notice it doesn't say that, the angel of Yahweh. So the question is, who is Yahweh? And Yahweh is the Father alone. Another point, when you look at the Hebrew word malak, if you go into the etymological origins of the term, it's impossible for God to be a malak, because a malak is one who's subordinate, one who is commissioned by their superior to speak on their behalf. That's what the word malak means. There's nobody superior to God who's going to commission God and send God. It's impossible for God to be a malak. And so all of your other things just crumble. And if you can't address those two things, then they're moot points.
Yeah, and so I want to add on to that. So you made the comment, Seth. You said there are angels which are created. Yeah, that's all of them. Okay, that's all of them. The only angel in the Bible you would think isn't created is the angel of the Lord, because you put him in a special category. Okay, that's special.
No, it's because he's called God repeatedly.
No, okay, so that's all right, and that shows that you don't even understand what Andrew's telling you.
I quoted Exodus 3.
Okay, listen, a genitive construction means that they are not the same in their identity. So think of it, let's use a different example. Okay. If I said the house of David, is the house David? No, because of is a genitive construction connecting two nouns. Okay, it's a genitive of relationship of origin or source. Okay, it's the same thing with the angel of the Lord. Okay, if it was the Lord, it would just say the Lord, right? Like a theophany, but it's the angel of the Lord. Another thing here too, this is well known in scholarship. You guys can act like you don't see it. You can choose not to study it. But the name of Yahweh is a communicable vehicle of divine agency. Okay, so an angel can possess the name of Yahweh because it represents the authority of Yahweh. This is why Jesus says, I come in my Father's name. Okay, what is that name? That's Yahweh. Okay, so that it shows you that Jesus does not have the same name as the Father. Okay, so genitive.
Matthew 28, in the name singular of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Okay.
You're just jumping, bro. You're jumping. And here's the thing. Here's what I recommend.
How's he jumping? He's not jumping.
No, here's the thing. Just stop and listen to what we're saying, bro. Just actually.
Okay, I'd like to respond. I think the only thing I have to respond to is the genitive.
Okay, so you respond to. Then respond to what we've actually argued. Then, please.
Okay. Let me take it one step at a time. So a genitive construction doesn't only mean one thing. First of all, there are times when Elohim, for example, means something besides God. It's used in 1 Samuel, I think, to refer to the soul of Samuel. The Hebrew there is Elohim, so it doesn't merely refer to to God's existence. It's also used at the end of Deuteronomy, I believe, to refer to demons. So it basically just means, spirit, and it can refer to God.
We already said this, bro. That's a predicative sense.
I'm not sure what you're even getting at.
Address.
So you were making the point about
All right,
Malak.
let's allow Seth to finish his thought, guys, and then I'll allow you guys to respond.
May I add to something Seth says when he finishes, Marlon?
Yeah, but I'm allow Andrew and Mike to respond to Seth when he's done. Then you can add on to the backside of that.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to remember the different points you were making. So the generative. So you guys were talking about how Andrew, you said that God can't. So Malak means messenger. So therefore, God can't be a Malak because God's not a messenger. There's nobody higher than God.
Well, let me clarify. It means more than just messenger, but messenger suffices, because if a messenger is a go-between, the word malak in Hebrew means one who's commissioned by their superior to act on their behalf. You can't be you can't be the malak of Yahweh, commissioned by Yahweh, and be Yahweh. You would just be
so
Yahweh.
that was my point with bringing up Elohim, is simply because a word can mean different things. Okay, so Malak doesn't, if there are verses that, hold on,
Yeah.
Malak can mean different things besides merely a subordinate messenger of God. I can prove this because I can show you many verses that identify the angel of the Lord as God. It refers to the angel of the Lord, that entity. It interchangeably refers to that entity as the angel of the Lord, and as God and as Lord. So if you say, well, God can't be a Malak, Exodus 3 disagrees with you.
Well, let me stop. No, it doesn't. Well, let me tell you what the difference is. What you're doing is you're making a category error, and I'll tell you why. Is because Elohim has a semantic range which allows for it to refer to humans or demons or angels or God. Malak, there's nowhere in the semantic range that allows it for it to be God. And so you're making a
contradicts itself?
I'm saying that the word Malak does not have any God in the semantic range.
Then why does Exodus 3 interchangeably refer to the being speaking in the burning bush as God, Lord, and the angel of the Lord?
I'll tell you why. Is because this is Yahweh in a predicative sense, because the angel represents Yahweh. It's not God.
He represents. He says he is Yahweh.
No. Okay. All right. So you don't. All right. So tell me.
Hey, hold on. It's my turn.
It's all right. Go for it, JP, and then I'll come in.
Marlon, can I respond? He is the moderator, after all. Now, Seth is making beautiful arguments. Now, it is very interesting to me that they do not believe that Jesus can humble himself. Now, they don't believe Jesus is God.
No one said that.
Don't change the subject, JP.
I finished.
No, you can't. You're changing the subject.
Hold on. JP asked for time. You guys give him time. You guys have your chance. If you feel that he's changing the subject, you had a chance to say, "Hey,
I'm making an observation.
Get out of here with your weak sauce, JP.
Come on,
guys. Come on. Chill. Hey, chill.
But he can't
slander.
He can't slander us and lie about it.
I'm not slander,
bro. You brought in something none of us had mentioned.
Hey, I'm about to pull y'all out the stream in a minute. I'm gonna put y'all on the backstage in a minute. All right. JP, you guys gave JP a chance to respond. You got to get your chance. Go ahead,
JP.
Slander
us, bro.
No slandering. Don't slander. Don't demean nobody. Just get your response to what you want to give a response.
All right. So it is interesting to me that when we look all through the Bible, we see that the Son always humbles himself to the Father. That is not an issue. Also, it is interesting that these individuals keep making the argument that it represents. I keep hearing this word represents, and they can't be all these things. Seth made a beautiful argument. In Genesis 17 and Genesis 19 and in the book of Exodus, we see the Son saying that he is not that he's a representation of, that he is. So I would like to see where in Genesis 17, Genesis chapter 19, verse 24, and in these passages that Seth brought up, that those are people representing when he says that it is him. If
Oh,
I have a lawyer, let me finish. If I have a lawyer and the lawyer is going in my name, the lawyer is not me and I am not him. The lawyer is distinct from me. So we
Thank you for
understand that
proving
the
our point.
Father is not the Son and the Son is not the Father, but the Son is clearly calling himself Yahweh. So Seth's point stands.
all right, dude. You literally don't even understand the problem. Okay, so let's just repeat ourselves, shall we? Okay, the angel of the Lord is a genitive construction connecting two nouns. Okay, this means that the angel belongs to, is sent by, or represents Yahweh. So there you go, JP. Again, how do we know that we believe he is Yahweh, not just sent by Yahweh? Okay, this is disproven by the title angel of the Lord. Okay, a genitive does not equate the two. And
Nope.
I gave you an example like house of David. There's more like servant of Pharaoh, or the sword of Gideon, or the prophet of God. Okay, grammatically, the phrase distinguishes between
Has
the
the house of
angel
David
and
said-
Yahweh.
Did
The
the house of
angel,
David say
stop.
he
The angel acts on Yahweh's behalf, but the angel acts on Yahweh's behalf, but he is not identical to him. Okay, so what you need to do is disprove the
10
basic
seconds.
definitions of a genitive
10
construction.
seconds, Marlon. 10 seconds, and that's it. Seth, I'll give it back to you because I know I'm taking
Okay.
your time. 10 seconds. Do we ever have the house of David literally saying, "Hey, I am a house"? Do we have the sword of Gideon literally saying, "Hey, I am a sword"? No, we
Do you-
don't have those examples. But what we have are direct examples where the angel of the Lord is calling himself Yahweh. So it doesn't correlate because we actually have the person claiming what he is. These
Let me
other
respond.
examples don't correlate and they're not the same thing.
Let
So
me
if we
respond.
have the angel
That's
of the
10
Lord
seconds.
and he says, "I am Yahweh," that is different from saying house of David, house of this, sort of that. It doesn't
JP, what I just presented you is a grammatical argument. It doesn't matter what you fill the X and Y in. X of Y, fill them in however you want.
Does
As
the
long
house
as
of
it
David
says
literally
of,
say, "Hey,
dude, as long as it says of, it's a
does the
genitive
house of
construction.
David, do the individuals
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to talk. It doesn't
Got
have to
him.
do
Got
anything.
him. Got him. He said it
Dude,
doesn't matter. No, it does matter.
JP, this is a
The people
grammatical
in the
argument.
house of
You
David
have
don't say
to
they're a house.
address
The
JP.
people in
All
the
right,
house of David.
JP is
All right, it's hard.
crashing, dude.
It's hard to hear you guys when you guys are talking.
Okay,
over-
all right.
Well,
So
let me finish
let
my
me
sentence.
finish. No, you were
Because you're
done.
not
Let me
understanding.
finish.
The
You were
people
done.
in the house of
JP,
David aren't
JP.
saying we're
All right.
literally houses.
Okay, all right. Go. Yeah, please finish, and then
10
be
seconds.
quiet.
The people. Let's use House of David for example.
One
The people in
Mississippi.
the House of David aren't saying we're literally houses walking around. Hey, Marlon, I'm a house. They're not doing that. The angel of the Lord is saying he's Yahweh. I'm done.
Okay, 13 seconds. That was close. All right,
I'll give you
JP,
13.
you ready? You ready? It doesn't matter what you fill in the construction with. The formula X of Y, servant of Pharaoh, prophet of God. It doesn't matter. What matters is the language. It's the genitive construction. You're asking, how do you know that angel of Yahweh means being sent by or belonging to or representing Yahweh? Because of the grammatical structure. This is exactly how it functions in every other case. So what you need to do is refute that. You have to refute the genitive construction.
I will do that. Okay.
Perfect.
Hold on,
Here's the
There we
thing.
go.
So if you have something X of the Y or X of Y, I agree that in many, many cases, those two things are obviously being distinguished, like sort of Gideon. Okay.
Awesome.
There's nothing, however, there's nothing about that construction that necessitates it. And the only example I can give you that came off the top of my head, I'm going to nerd out like, I'm going to Star Trek nerd out for a second. 7 of 9, okay, is a designation and it uses the genitive construction. It's referring to one being 7 of 9. So there's nothing about a
Is
genitive
that
construction.
what verse is
Stop,
this?
stop. Hold on. I'm simply you're making a point about how language works. We're not for this specific argument. You're not citing a verse. You're talking about how language works. I'm making the same point about how language works. Having X of 9 does not necessitate. It often does mean that X and Y are different things, but it does not necessitate that two different things are being referenced. in the Star Trek universe, you have 7 of 9 being one. It's designating one kind of being. So there's nothing about that grammatical construction that necessitates we're talking about two different things.
Okay,
And
all
again,
right.
I have evidence from
Can I
Exodus
clarify?
3 where you have one entity being referred in one instance to, in one verse says God, one verse says the Lord, one verse says the angel of the Lord. There's nothing about your grammatical argument that necessitates that they have to be distinct.
Okay, yeah, it actually does. And
Can I
so,
respond?
all
Can
right,
I
Andrew,
respond?
please.
Because when you have a genitive construction, what you're trying to do is make it an appositional genitive construction. Now, let's take, for instance, the two nouns King and David. Then you would say King David. That would be an appositional construction, okay?
Okay.
So what we're not saying, if you have the two nouns angel and Yahweh, you never say the angel Yahweh. You always say the angel of Yahweh. It's not the
Okay.
angel Yahweh, because if you did, you would have Yahweh sending the angel Yahweh, then you'd have two Yahwehs. And then
So God's not
secondary.
phrasing it the way you want him to. That's all that
No,
amounts to.
I'm saying that if any Hebrew grammarian you go to, any translation of the Bible you go to, they don't translate it the angel Yahweh. You
No.
can't just make stuff up. If you want to do that, go ahead. But you're a fringe minority that. This is just not how
I'm
grammar
not
works.
asserting that anyone translated it that way. I'm simply making the point that a generative construction does not necessitate that they're referring to two different beings. They don't have to phrase it as in
Yeah.
English. Appositives are phrased that way, like King David. They don't have to be phrased that way in order for the same being to be referenced.
Yeah, but if you said the king of David, the king wouldn't be David. It's the king of David. It's the king who's over
Right.
David.
So that's an example where
No.
a generative construction is used to distinguish the two, but that doesn't mean that has to be the case when that generative
Yes,
construction.
it does. When you say
I just gave you an example where it doesn't work.
When you say the angel of Yahweh, the two are distinct. That's how language works.
That you're asserting that, but you're saying that
it's not
X
asserting
of
that.
Y must mean they're distinguished. I just gave you an example in English where
Yeah,
they're not.
from
That's how language
Star
works.
Trek, number one, from Star Trek. Number two, that essentially means 7
making a
out
point
of
about how language works.
okay, listen, yeah, you gave a fictitious example. Your head's in Marvel land. Okay, so 7 of 9 actually just means 7 out of 9. You're talking about members of a group. That's not a genitive construction set. That's a partitive construction.
And furthermore,
that's not a genitive construction.
Let's take your example, okay?
If you use different words, then yes, you can make it into into something else that it's not.
Again, so let's take your example, right? And I think I know what you're saying. What you're saying there is let's replace 9 with Yahweh, and then you would say something like the son of Yahweh, right? But then you would have to say something like the father of Yahweh. And that doesn't make sense. Because Yahweh is a proper personal name, and proper personal names belong to proper persons. So if the Father's name is Yahweh and the Son's name is Yahweh, then you have two Yahwehs. Just like if the Father's name
I
is
agree,
Matt,
there are two Yahwehs, two persons called Yahweh.
Hold on. How many Yahwehs did you just say there are?
Well, I believe in 3, but in the example that you gave,
3 Yahwehs.
That's
3 persons called
They are one.
Mormonism.
3 persons.
Thank you.
3 persons
So how
all
many-
called Yahweh.
3 Yahwehs. Perfect.
You're
But they are
switching,
one.
bro. You're switching. You're saying
No,
three
I'm
persons-
telling you what Trinitarianism means.
No, you're switching because you're saying that there are 3. You said there are 3 Yahwehs, and now you're saying there's 3 who are Yahweh. You're switching. Right in the middle of the conversation, you're switching. You're saying there's a group named Yahweh, and all 3 persons are a part of the group. What I'm telling you is that that's not what the name Yahweh is. It's not a group name or a class of being. It's a proper personal name, like Matt or Stephen or David or Larry.
Yeah, Yahweh is a name. Lord and God are titles.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why
there you
what
go.
you said is wrong.
So if the Father's name is Yahweh and the Son's proper personal name is Yahweh and the Holy Spirit's proper personal name is Yahweh, then you would have 3 Yahwehs because you have 3 persons, 3 beings with the same name. Just like if you had 3 persons named Matt, you wouldn't have one Matt. There's not a group called Matt. It's 3 Matts. Do you understand the argument?
Basic logic.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but one of the things that I think is going to trip us up is one of the foundational presuppositions of Trinitarianism is the creator-creature distinction. There are things that apply to creatures in ways that they don't apply to God, and that's where you guys are probably going to get tripped up, because you guys are trying to argue, well, it's always the case when we talk about humans in this way. You know, if a human talked about being three persons, we call him crazy, but when we talk about God, you know, all of a sudden it's okay. It's like, yeah, it's because God is
okay, yeah.
fundamentally
All right,
different
so
than his creation.
that is
You
that
just
is
admitted that-
textbook special pleading. Textbook,
Real
because you
quick,
have
listen.
because you have a universal definition that applies 99.9% of the time, and then you want to put God in a special category while using the same words. You say that God is an essence and that he has a nature and he is a person. You're using words like person, essence, nature, but you put them all in this special category for God. Okay.
So do you agree with the creator-creature distinction or not?
And you also just admitted that you come to the conversation with a
Yes.
Based in
presuppositional
scripture, that
framework.
creation
No.
and creatures are different.
No,
Or the creator and creation.
but a
You don't think we just-
You have
presuppositional
presuppositions
framework-
too, Andrew. Cut it out. Everybody
No, I
has
don't.
presuppositions.
Everything I
Liar.
can say.
I am presuppositionless.
Everybody has
Everything I'm
That is my
saying-
presupposition.
Hey, hold on. We gotta correct that. Hey, hold on. We gotta correct
Prove it.
Andrew.
Prove it.
Hey, we can't be dishonest, brother. You know what I mean? We know. Andrew, everybody got presuppositions.
Okay, name one presupposition.
You believe
I
the
have.
Bible?
You believe the Bible is true, right?
Okay, he's
Right?
talking. He's
Just
talking.
say yes.
No, he's talking
Just
about.
say yes.
No. He's talking about presuppositions in context of this
The man
argument.
said no,
Seth-
he didn't say that.
Seth
You
is
even twist reality, brother. Scriptures and reality. You twist it all. Now, can
All
I
right.
make my point?
I guess my
All
point. I guess my point is, and we'll get back to something. My point is that everybody on this panel had presuppositions. Nobody can deny that. Let's not deny it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Can I say
Name one claim that I've made in this debate, which is a
Everything you said,
presupposition.
brother. Everything
Name
you said.
one.
Now, can
no,
I-
that's not an answer. Give an example. No, listen.
That's not an answer.
Yeah, you need to make this very clear. Listen, it's about
Okay,
pre.
I'll make
It's
one. I'll make
no.
one.
Let me.
You asked me a
Please let me
question,
finish.
Mike.
Please
Mike,
let me
you asked me
finish.
a question.
Yeah, and you can answer, right?
me
But
answer
let me
it now.
clarify. You can,
Let
JP.
Let's allow Mike
Andrew,
to ask a question.
All right,
Is
so-
that your presupposition?
all right, so
Andrew,
listen.
Andrew.
Dude, you are
Andrew.
cracking out over here.
No,
You're a
I'm not.
joke, dude. Quiet
Andrew.
down.
Hey,
Quiet down, dude.
hey, guys.
Like, you want to fight me,
let's-
Mike, one-on-one?
Guys,
Guy's
let's take a deep
crashing
breath.
out
Hey,
over there.
Guys.
You got
Let's
smoked
take a
in the
deep
first
breath.
5
Take a deep
minutes,
No, I
JP.
did not.
Let's
Let
take
me
a
Yeah,
deep
you did.
breath. Take a deep breath.
Andrew.
Okay. Clear
Can I
it up.
ask Andrew a question?
All right.
No, let the moderator moderate. He said, "Let me talk, JP. Quiet."
Hold on. All right. Let's allow Mike to get what he has to say. JP, you can respond to either Andrew or Mike. All right. So, Mike, go ahead.
Obviously, we all have presuppositions. I don't think that's what Andrew is saying. No, I don't have any presuppositions. We're talking about in the context of this argument, right? So there are things that we should argue for, not just presuppose. Okay, that's what he's saying. He's saying Seth's with presupposing something he should be arguing for. It's that simple.
Yeah. All I'm asking is
Whoa,
name
whoa,
one.
it's my turn.
Name
now.
one.
My turn.
You asked me. Name
No,
one thing.
Hold on.
Name one. Come on.
Come on,
That's your tactic.
Andrew.
You
I
just wanna
just
test
said
people
what I was gonna do. I was gonna let JP respond to Mike or you. So go ahead, JP.
Andrew, is it based on your presuppositions that the Father is alone Yahweh?
No, it's based on demonstrably true hermeneutics.
From your
That's the difference between-
presuppositions? From Scripture?
No, it's not.
right?
It's demonstrably. Do you know how
So it
hermeneutics
is
work?
not your presupposition. That
No,
the
it's-
Father is, so you did not
No.
come in this conversation with the presupposition that the Father alone is Yahweh.
I've made my arguments based on demonstrably
But you
true
did not
hermeneutics.
answer the
What I'm
question.
asking you,
Andrew,
again,
answer
bro.
the question. Did you come in this conversation with the
JP's in meta world right now.
Mike answered your question.
Okay.
I'm telling
Yeah,
in the
this
con-
is,
you are
you're
so
arguing the
dishonest.
meta.
Wow, bro.
in the-
Wow.
in the con-
All
No,
right.
dude, you're grasping at straws. You can't even
Okay,
address
okay.
the argument.
All right, guys, we're going back and forth. We're going back and forth. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Marlon,
I mean,
No, we're not even talking about what Seth brought up anymore.
Okay,
All right.
can I-
Can I
Yeah,
jump in?
yeah,
and
that's
say
true.
something?
Hold on. Go ahead, Seth. You got it.
Okay. Mike, this might help. I found another example. There's a reference in John 2 where Jesus talks about the temple of his body. Those are referring to the same thing. They're not being distinguished there.
Okay, so John chapter 2, specific verse. I like to look it up. Check it out.
John, let's see.
18, 19.
It looks like it's 21. I'm simply making the point that the of construction does not necessitate that that those two things are being distinguished or that they're entirely separate. I mean, I already gave you an example in the English language where that works. I mean, if you think of multiplication, like 10% of 50 or something, we're talking about a single number at the end of the day. And once you've done that calculation, you're talking about a single number. I've gave you another English example of 7 and 9. Okay, it's fictional, but I gave you a mathematical example. Now I'm giving you an example in Greek where the two words are being used, x of y to refer to the same thing. And so I'm not simply citing a Bible verse. I'm saying language works that way. Language can be used that way. So simply because you have angel of the Lord, that does not necessitate that angel and the Lord are absolutely separate.
Okay, so question though. In this example, the temple of his body, is this a genitive construction?
Of is a genitive.
Yeah, but when we're talking the temple and of his body, okay, is this possessive? Is this a possessive genitive?
I actually, according to the Greek website, I found it is specifically a genitive of apposition.
Appositional, thank you very much. So it is not a genitive construction in the same way, angel of the Lord.
Let me help you. Because appositional means.
Wait. Why does that make a difference?
I told you.
Like because they're two different.
You based your argument on the fact that it's a genitive.
Yeah, well, come on, man, Seth. We've said many times that it's a genitive of possession or source, right? Or origin. We also said
when you have an
appositional.
I'm gonna help you out, bro. I'm gonna all the rhetoric. An appositional genitive means that they're identical. For instance, if you say King David, those are appositional. They're the same thing. Okay. When you have something, if you say something like the angel, now if you want to use the angel of Yahweh and say it's appositional, like they're the same thing, then you have to say the angel Yahweh. You wouldn't say the angel of Yahweh.
Yes. And think, I mean, guys, think about it. Okay, so if that was true, then you're essentially saying Yahweh's Yahweh. And then it collapses. Really, what's the point of the distinction at all? Right? Okay, why even have it?
Okay, sure.
If you say one Yahweh sends the angel Yahweh, then you'd have two Yahwehs.
Yeah. Yes. So that is essentially
there are two entities referred to as Yahweh.
You're switching, bro. You're switching. You're saying that two entities. You're using
the person
Yahweh
of the Father is referred to Yahweh. The person of the Son is also referred to as Yahweh.
But that's not how proper personal names work. You're using it as a group
apparently
name.
It's how it works with God.
You're just asserting that. That's circular reasoning. You have to prove it. Prove it.
I've given you multiple Bible verses.
No,
you guys have Exodus 3, Isaiah 48.
You're making assertions based on observations. That's not an argument.
And it's an appositional genitive, right? So this is a false analogy fallacy. Just because one kind of genitive doesn't mark a distinction doesn't mean another example like the ones we gave you don't, right? So this is why categories matter. Possession versus apposition. That's the point. We're talking about possession. You gave an example of apposition.
Well, I think you're begging the question there. I mean, you can use a genitive.
No,
hold on. Let me finish.
Hold on. Let him respond.
So you guys were arguing just based on its genitive. Okay, there are different uses of genitive. If it's the same thing, okay, sure, it's a genitive of apposition. If it's a different thing, then it's a genitive of possession. I am simply making the point that the angel of the Lord is genitive, and that doesn't automatically mean that they're not the same thing.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's fine.
But
That's my
right.
point. It's not the problem.
So Exodus 3 proves that the angel of the Lord is Lord.
No, that's not how that works.
No.
You're right. You're right.
Where am I going wrong now?
I just told you, dude. It's a false analogy fallacy. Just because. No,
hold on. Seth, you're right. You're right. Because those two nouns exist together in a genitive construction doesn't mean that they're different things. That's right. But
right, so that refutes your argument about Exodus 3.
No, it doesn't.
No, because one is appositional.
You have to choose whether it's an appositional genitive or a genitive of origin or possession. So
Okay,
you
but
tell us which one you believe it
a
is.
genitive of apposition by definition means that they're the same thing. A genitive
Exactly.
of possession by definition means that they're different.
Okay, all right. So
You are asserting.
no, wait a second, Seth. So then, are you backtracking? And so you're now saying that angel of Yahweh is an appositional genitive. Is that what you're claiming?
I'm asking you, make an argument.
Dude,
No,
no,
hold on,
don't
Mike,
sideswipe that.
Hold on. I'm asking you to make Marlon said you guys are in the hot seat. You have to make the argument.
Okay, fair enough.
I want you to make the argument that the angel of the Lord genitive construction is one of possession, not apposition. I have proof that it's apposition.
I'll tell you why.
I have proof that it's apposition because other parts of that passage indicate that the angel of the Lord is identical with God and the Lord. I want you to make the argument that it must be possession, not apposition.
Yeah. So, well, because
No. I'm asking Mike. I'm asking Mike.
Oh, I bet you good. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. Well, whoever you ask.
Well, I mean, I think that there are a few different things we would have to look at, and I mean, my mind goes just to the basics of Hebrew grammar, right? So in Hebrew, when you have a construct chain, this noun plus another noun, the most common use is possessive or agency. That I would say number one is the most common. I think you could say that.
Okay, it can be used that way. How do you know it's being used that way in that passage?
Well, because if it were appositional, I mean, typically Hebrew would drop it. It would drop the construct and just equate the two directly.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
Greek doesn't do that.
Wait,
Marlon.
listen. The grammar itself is pointing to a possession, not an identity, right?
No, you're asserting your position again.
I'm literally trying. I just gave you one solid reason.
Mike,
all right, JP.
No, Mike, you didn't even give an argument.
Go
you
for it.
Your position again.
Okay,
Seth. Of course, they didn't give arguments. They didn't do anything. Now, can I make a quick statement, real quick, Marlon?
Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent arguments, by the way, Seth. Excellent arguments. Can I? So I have about 5 to 10 minutes left, and then I'll let these wonderful gentlemen in the bottom do what they got to do. But can I just bring up one quick argument, Marlon, and then I can pretty much wrap it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that fine with you? All right.
Is this going to change the subject, JP?
Brother, why are you just want to stick to this Greek?
Let's allow me.
You just said
hold on. Yo.
Whoa.
Hold on, man. Let JP go ahead and make your argument, and I'll allow Mike and Andrew to respond. If they feel that you're changing your subject matter, they can address that. Go ahead, JP.
Thank you. All right. So I wanted to bring up John chapter 1, verse 1 real quick, and not specifically anything in none of the generic arguments, just something real quick. So in John chapter 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So in the beginning, we have Jesus, who is the Word with God. There was never a time where the Son was not, and there was never a time where the Father was not. When the Father was, the Son was, and when the Son was, the Father was. For they always existed at the same time, eternally backwards. So, Andrew, let me ask you a question, Andrew. When you read John chapter 1, in the beginning was the Word, and let's make this really quick because I don't have much time. So please, no sermons. So in John chapter 1, when you see in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, how do you parse this, given the fact that the text seems to suggest that the Father and Son always existed together?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking you, Andrew.
Okay, so this is so. First of all, you're begging the question. You're trying to impose.
Can you make it quick, Andrew? Not with the begging the question.
You gave me 1 second. I talked for 1 second, bro.
But Andrew,
JP, don't cut him off. Let's allow Andrew to respond. He's getting
you're scared, bro. I know you're scared.
Scared of what?
You're scared. You're nervous. Just calm down a little bit.
I'm so nervous.
Now I'm gonna tell you, this is so first you said that this is a son, this and that, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, this is a perfect example of the difference between identity and predication. And you can go and look at Greek scholars like Daniel Wallace, and they'll tell you the same exact thing I'm about to tell you. And he's a Trinitarian. When you say in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, God there is used as a personal identifier for the Father. You agree with that, right?
Yes, in the beginning
Okay.
was the Word, and the Word was with God.
Now,
With God is the Father. Yes.
right. And so if you say the Word was with God, who is the Father, and you say the Word was God, if you're making that an identity statement, then you must be saying that the Word is the Father.
Yes.
What even Trinitarian Greek scholars will tell you is that this is a qualitative predicate saying something about the logos, saying something about what it's like. It's not an identity statement. So it has nothing to do with ontological being. It has to do with the characteristics that the logos possesses. And when you use a predicate, it means that it's God-ish or it's God-like. It's used adjectively as an adjective expressing what it's like. That's the difference, and that's a core difference between the God used as referring to identity and predication. So when you talk about in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, that's the Father alone. That's God by identity.
Can you speed it up, brother? Speed it up, because now Mike's going to preach a sermon. I have to respond.
Okay, but I'm saying, do you understand anything I said?
Yes.
Okay, so there's your answer.
Yeah. So
okay, but I have to respond.
So who's the first God? You agree that's the Father, right?
Yes.
Okay. So who's this God?
The Word.
Who?
The Word was God. So that's the Son.
Okay, right. So the point is that if both of these gods are God by identity, that means that you're saying that Jesus is the Father, because the first God is the Father. You're acknowledging that.
All right. Can I respond now?
I'll tell you right now, Marlon, I will not debate if Albie is here. Albie's got to go.
Yeah, right. Quit running, coward.
No,
don't run from Albie.
You know what?
He insulted my family. He lied to my face. The Trinity can be true, and I still think Albie is just not a good Christian. He still hasn't apologized.
I never insulted your family.
Yes, you did, and you're
all
right.
Right, fellas, can I finish my argument?
Okay.
Albie later.
Albie's got to go.
Let me finish my argument, and then we could worry about Albie later.
If I did believe me, you
why do you have one-way apologetics in here calling people cowards? Why? How is that Christian, bro?
Andrew, why are you crying? Can I get to my
argument? Like a purple-haired Democrat.
All right. Hey. All right, check. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. All right, JP, go ahead, finish what you got to say, man. Hey, Albie, let me holler at you real quick. All right, Albie.
Yeah, but just to be clear, just to be very fair, he just slandered me. I've never ever called his family.
Release the tape, Albie. Release it.
I never
release the live. Upload it. I told you I'd give you $100 if you upload it.
Hold on.
$100, Albie. Upload it. I'm lying. Prove me wrong. Upload it, Albie. Upload. I will Venmo you $100 right now if you upload it.
That's all it is. You're lying.
No, prove me wrong. Upload the video, Albie, where you didn't.
All right.
He's got to go.
What did I say about your family?
You made a joke about me and my family.
Listen. I have zero idea of the personal gripe you guys have.
There's nothing. He's lying.
I have zero idea. So what we're gonna do is
upload the clip, Albie.
I'm okay. God, come on, guys, chill. I have no idea.
My bad, Marlon.
Listen.
Ask him what I said. What did I say?
Fellas, let Marlon finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. I really don't care at this point in time. I can care less about you guys' gripes. If you guys have a contention, you guys handle it on the phone or email, however you guys want to handle that. This panel is about Unitarianism. If we can't continue that conversation, I'm going to have to discontinue the stream. Nobody wants to do that, right? And so, Albie, let me holler at you. I had no idea of the kind of contention you guys have, so I'm gonna remove you off the stream, Albie. Nothing personal, but I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, man. So I do want to make sure we're able to continue this conversation, though.
Well, Marlon, just to be clear, can you just ask me what I ever said? Just ask him. I want him to say it here.
He said what he said. He said if you're here, he doesn't want to be here. Simple as that.
What did I say about his family? Because he's slandering me
from the equation, bro.
Albie, I got nothing more to say to you, dude. You've already been called out. Goodbye. I've debated people like Albert.
You don't get
Albert
to
is cool
on the stage or not.
Albert,
all right. Hey. All right.
Marlon, drop
guys,
me. Brother.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. So me
and what I said though.
Drop me too, Marlon.
So me and
Albie's going.
No, Chris, stay. Stay. Please.
Chris, stay, brother, stay, because I'm about to leave.
We gotta get this thing rolling. I'm not gonna stick around here.
I had no idea. I don't know what the contention is with you.
Yeah,
I don't know the contention either, but ask him what I said. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah, sure you don't. You're a liar, dude. Please tell him to just drop him.
What did I say?
I've debate with many different Trinitarians who are cool.
What did I say about
like,
you're lying?
Like Albert.
Marlon, bro, you got to bring order to this. This
night. Marlon, drop me, brother. Marlon, go ahead and drop me, brother. It's all good, man. I love you, man. God bless you guys. God bless the Trinitarians. Trinitarians is the only way, the true God.
Okay,
and that's
all
why
right.
these guys are running.
Yeah, whatever.
Bye, Albie. Bye.
I'll text you. Albie, I'll text you, man.
No problem, Marlon. Hey, go plead your case.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeremiah 50:34.
If he wants to debate, he can be like Albert, okay, who has class, who is a stand-up guy. Albert and I have debated many times.
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't get to talk about him when he leaves.
Okay.
You coward.
Okay. Yeah, you can't
even
yeah,
say what he said in the live stream, man.
Okay. Let's not. Yeah. Okay, guys. Hey, Albie has departed. Conversation over. I don't care about what you guys have going on. That's y'all issue. Y'all handle that.
Thank you, Marlon.
None of that is calling people.
So you guys need to handle that and whatever. But my point is that go ahead and continue the conversation about Unitarianism. Let's go.
Okay, so let me finish my argument and then I gotta get out of here. Can you share my screen, Marlon?
All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Send the thing.
No, it's sharing. It's sharing.
Okay. I'll remove mine.
Right there. It's right there. I'll stop sharing and I'll share it again, and then I gotta get out.
Yeah,
of
do
here.
that.
All right. And I'll say some departing words. Thank you for having me here. All right. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The distinction is being made with Word and with God. He was in the beginning with God. Who was the He? The Word. All things were made through Him, and without Him was nothing made that was made. Through who? The Word. Now, notice he mentioned Wallace, but Wallace would also say that this is saying Jesus is God. Now, I end this with this. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word was in the beginning with God, and there was never a time when the Word was not, and there was never a time when the Father was not. Both existed eternally backwards. There was.
What's your argument? Make an argument. You just read.
If the Word always existed eternally backwards, if the Word always existed,
so what? You're begging the question about even what the Word is, and that's beside the point.
The Word is God, brother. Because it says the Word was God.
Bro, I already answered.
I'm out of here, bro, because you're not even letting me finish out my
argument. One person speaks, though, isn't it?
Let's allow Andrew. Don't cut him off. Let's allow him to get his argument. Then you guys have plenty of time to respond.
You know what, man? I'll just wrap it up, man.
Thank you cut him off, JP.
Let me just wrap it up, man, because I was talking, you guys cut me off. Thank you guys for allowing me to come up here. Marlon, thank you for what you do. Appreciate everybody. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Andrew. Look forward
to JP.
Conversations. You guys have a good day. I'll be watching in the back burner, but I really do have to go because I had to leave a few minutes ago. All right. Blessings to you all. I gotta get on. Take care, fellas. I did enjoy this conversation. I did, for the record. Right. And I'm not mad at anybody. So I hope you guys have a good conversation. Brother Seth, it was a pleasure to meet you, my brother. You made some excellent arguments, brother.
Respect.
Thanks, man.
Right? Seth?
Respect.
Yep. Take care, fellas. Take care. I'll be watching.
See ya.
Yeah. So listen, this is how I would address this. And I'm sort of echoing things that I think Andrew explained already very well. Okay. So when it says in the beginning was the Word and the Word was with God, I'd like everybody to know we got a concession that this is the Father. Okay. So if it says the Word was with God, and then it says the Word was God, if both these gods are in the same sense of identity, then that would entail that Jesus is the Father. That's literally what this would be saying. Now to go back here to another point that Andrew, again, awesome the way he said it, is that the second use of theos, JP said earlier, well, it still says he's God. Yeah, we agree with that. Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's the same type of God, the same kind of theos. So look at this. The first God here has the ton. That's the definite article. Okay. The Word was with ton, theon. That's the God. So this second God lacks the definite article. You notice it's not there between them. So that is an indication in the Greek that this second God functions more like an adjective. It's qualitative. As Andrew said, it's a God by predication. So this is how this would have been understood. There's a ton more that could be said here. John is alluding to Genesis when he uses the term NRK here. This is the same thing you see in Genesis, the Greek Septuagint. Also, there's an argument here to be made that the word actually isn't Jesus at all. Okay. It only is Jesus when the word becomes flesh, okay, and dwells among us. We believe that Jesus is the word become flesh, right? So I actually think it's our interpretation, the Unitarian view, which is the only one that isn't contradictory. Because if you believe that both these gods are in fact God by identity, then it just entails that Jesus is the Father and you have two gods. It's just not what
But
the
you
Bible
don't
teaches.
think Jesus is the Father, though, do you?
No, we don't think he's the Father either.
So I mean, you're just going through a verse here showing that Jesus is the Father, or that the Word is the
we're saying
Father,
that.
and we
No.
know in verse 14 that the Word takes on flesh. So why don't you think the Father took on flesh?
No, so maybe you weren't here for the beginning. So let me just say the
I've
argument.
watched all the way. I've watched all the way.
Okay, so did you hear my argument about the difference between identification and predication?
I was just listening to Mike just then. He very clearly identified the Word as being
Okay,
the Father.
do you
He said the Word
understand?
was with God, which was the Father,
Do
and the
you
Word was
right?
God, which was the Father. So the Word is the Father. The Father took on flesh in verse 14, but you don't believe the Father took on flesh.
But listen, do you understand the difference between identification and predication?
Not exactly, no, to be honest.
Okay, so let me help you out, bro. Because I'll restate what I already said in my opening. Okay, so there's two different ways you can use the word God. You can use God in the sense as a personal identifier. In the Bible, the title God, the overwhelming majority of instances of the title God is a personal identifier for the
Yeah.
Father alone.
And
So
the
you can
Father is the
listen,
one who
just let me finish,
speaks,
bro.
isn't
Let
it?
me finish because you don't know the difference between identity, and I'm not condescending. I'm just
But
telling you this is our argument. So if you want to
no,
understand our
you're
argument,
missing my point, and you're missing what Mike just said. A
no,
person
he
is the
didn't
one
say
that
that. Okay,
speaks their word, isn't it? One person speaks their word. And so if you're saying that the word is the Father and the
we're not saying
Father
that.
speaks his word, that's what Mike just said.
No, he
Maybe
didn't.
you need to play it back.
No, you're assuming that that's his interpretation because he denies the Trinitarian interpretation. He's saying that the Logos is distinct from the Father, but the Logos is called God in a predicative sense, not in the sense of identity. If you were to say that the Son is God by identity, then you would be saying that the Logos is the Father. That's what your argument, unless you want to concede to the fact that God is being used in two different senses there. It's being used in the sense of identification when it first refers to the Father, and it's being used as a qualitative predicate when it's being applied to the Logos. That's two different senses. That's what I made my argument in the very beginning, the difference between identification and predication.
Well, I'm not a Trinitarian or a Unitarian. I guess I would fit as a oneness Pentecostal is probably what I fit most closely to. So I believe that the Father incarnate. I believe that the Word is the Father. So nothing that you just said would actually refute my belief. The Word is an attribute of the Father who speaks.
No,
And Mike clearly said that the Word was with God and is God, and he was identifying it as the Father. And now you're backtracking on that.
Yeah, I don't. He doesn't get it. He doesn't know the
so-
difference between what we mean by is.
I didn't know you were a oneness Pentecostal, so let me break this down from your perspective, respectfully. So,
To be honest, I'm just closest to that. I'm not even a oneness Pentecostal. I
so
couldn't
you don't
even
know
tell
what
you
you
what
are.
they believe exactly.
You're confused, but it's. I'm just joking. But
I'm just a non-denominational that reads the Bible, dude. I don't study all the different doctrines.
Okay.
So,
Well,
but
so,
I'm closest to that.
So what you've said is you said that the Word is an attribute of the Father. Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense when it says the Word was with the Father, and
Yeah.
the Word was the Father.
Well, let me
Then
ask you a question then. Is the Father with
how is the
speech?
Word with the Father if the Word is the Father?
Was the Father mute? Could the Father talk? Was he with speech or was he without speech? Was he with words or without words?
That's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what the Word of God is in the Bible. The Word of God is often seen as something that comes forth from God and acts on its own. For instance, what is it? Isaiah 55:11. God said, "The word which I speak will come forth from my mouth, and it will accomplish what I please." So the word takes on almost independent existence from the Father, if not really independent existence from the Father.
You just said the word comes out of his mouth and proceeds from him. That's what I'm telling you. One person speaks. The word is the speech of the Father. The Father
speaks. But wait a second though, man. So so many places in the Bible, particularly the New Testament, right, where Jesus and the Father are not the same. Okay, they're not the same being. This is this is in their titles, right? So think of Ephesians 1, the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, Colossians 1. 1 Corinthians 1:3, all of those, same thing. Also, when you're saying that, or excuse me, when Jesus says that there are two that bear witness, you know the passage I'm talking about, right? So Jesus,
I wanted to bring up John 8. That's where you're going.
Well, the Father, the point is that the Father and the Son are two. Is the point. So Jesus isn't the Father.
Let's bring up John 8. We'll look at that, because if you actually look at it, the Father doesn't testify, or Trinitarians and yourself are unable to identify how the Father testifies. Jesus makes the claim that he is not alone, and he makes the claim that the Father testifies, but neither Trinitarians or Unitarians can actually show the fruition how the Father actually testified. They don't know. They got no idea.
Actually, we do though. He's a witness. And that's what a witness is.
If you look at John 14:10, what Jesus says there is that the Father is inside of him, and it's not his words that he speaks, but that's the Father that speaks through him. So if we then go back to John 8, what we can understand is that when Jesus is saying that he's not alone and that the Father testifies, it's actually Jesus that's testifying for himself as the Son in his humanity, and he testifies for himself as the Father in his divinity. But he's confused. And so wait, let me just finish quickly. And then in verse 19, if you highlight verse 19, it says, "They said to him, therefore, where is your Father?" They were unable to discern where the Father is, because Jesus is the Father. And so they were confused about where the Father was, and they were left asking, where is the Father? But Jesus made the claim, and unless you can state that Jesus is the Father, you can't identify where the Father is in that verse.
That's long, bro.
Yeah,
that's long. So let me ask you this: is the Father a person?
Yeah.
Is the Son a person?
The Father, the Son's a person. He's the incarnation of the Father.
Same Father as is the Son the same person as the Father?
Yeah, the Son is the incarnation of the Father.
So when Jesus says, "I'm ascending to my Father," is he ascending to himself?
Yes, he's returning to spirit.
You've just made
his spirit and flesh.
I mean, no. What you're saying is just nonsense, bro. It doesn't
God
make any
has
sense,
a celestial body.
You believe something. People believe a lot of things. Some people believe that boys can be girls, but I don't care, bro. Prove it.
Hey, Steve, I'll let you respond to Andrew real quick, and then we're gonna move on to the next panel.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I mean,
hold on one second. Hold on, Steve. I'll let you respond. I think the next person is with the green background, with the green screen in the background.
That's Albert.
All right, so, all right, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, well, I mean, Andrew didn't comment on anything that I said there in John 8
as
to actually where the Father was.
Hey, Andrew, let him respond. Andrew, let him respond. Let him respond.
Andrew, if you want to respond, you can just simply tell me where the Father is in this scenario, because Jesus makes the claim that the Father testifies, and so if you have discernment, then you can discern where the Father is, how the Father testifies.
I lack discernment. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So just answer the question then, because I've already given you the answer. So
your question is where the Father is. Jesus says, "I'm ascending to the Father." So obviously,
no, in John 8 here that we've got on the screen. Jesus is making the claim that the Father testifies.
And
So
he
how
is the
did the Father
Father.
testify?
How is Jesus ascending to the Father when he is the Father, bro?
I'm just asking you, how did the
I'm just
Father
saying what you're
testify
saying
in
is
John 8?
incoherent.
The Father is a celestial being that's up in the heavens, and
Okay, is he a
Jesus is his
person?
terrestrial avatar. He has a terrestrial body, a celestial
Okay,
body.
then you
He's
make
one
Jesus into a
person,
crazy
but
person.
I'm asking you where
Jesus
the
was talking to
Father is
somebody,
in John
bro.
8, and you don't
Okay.
seem to be able to answer. So I'll
Jesus
leave
was-
it at that, Marlon. Thank you for letting me on. It's a shame Andrew can't answer the question.
Yes, because I
But
don't have
hopefully
discernment. I
your
lack
listeners
discernment.
actually heard me answer and say that the Father is inside of Jesus and he testifies through Jesus, and that's how the Father testified in John 8. But the Pharisees were unable to discern where the Father was in the scenario. So thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for coming up, Steve. I appreciate you, man.
That's
See ya.
all
All
good,
right.
mate. Have a good
All right. So we have what's your name, brother? With the green screen in the back.
Albert.
Albert. Got you. What position you represent, man?
Trinitarian position.
Got you. What you got for Andrew and Mike, man? What you got?
So I'm gonna go talk with Andrew. I kind of know for the most part Mike's view on this. I've talked with him before about it, so I'd like to hear what Andrew has to say, being that he's a Unitarian. So obviously, we as Trinitarians believe that Jesus is God, and one way that I believe that we can see that is by reading Hebrews 1, most notably Hebrews 1:8 through 12, especially Hebrews. Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? So yeah, especially Hebrews 1:10, where it states that the Father is stating of the Son that he created the heavens and the earth. So we know in Isaiah it states that God alone created the heavens and the earth. Why does in Hebrews the writer, who's inspired by the Holy Spirit, state that the Father is saying this about the Son?
That's a good question. I think that's the first actual question somebody's asked, so I appreciate that. So first of all, if you go to my YouTube channel, Unitarian Apologetics, I have a whole video where I make an irrefutable case, diving deep into this text, given the background text, given the Septuagint where he's quoting from, which has a different reading than the Hebrew text, and I explain all this. So if you want to hear it more in depth, I got like a 30-minute video, and you check it out. Feel free to try to refute it. But when you're talking about Hebrews 1, so which particular text? I know he says, "Your throne, O God." Are you talking about the creation part, right? Where he says, "In the beginning, you laid the foundation of the heavens and the earth," right?
Right. In Hebrews 1:10, it states, and it's quoting from Psalm 125, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and so first of all, right, and so it's Psalm. So when you go to Psalm 102. You notice, first of all, that the author in Hebrews is quoting from the Septuagint. So are you aware of the change in translation that happens from the Hebrew to the Septuagint? There's a change in the text. Okay, so in the Hebrew text, it's the supplicant pleading to the Father, pleading to Yahweh to show him the fewness of his days, right? But in the Septuagint, they're reading from this word. I want to say I'm off the top of my head, but it's this Hebrew word "ana," I think. And in the Septuagint, God responds back to the human. Okay, so it uses this word "apokryphe," which always refers to a conversation between two people, and it says that God answers the human being in the Septuagint, and now God's telling the human being that you've laid the foundation in the beginning. So when we look at Hebrews 2:5, it says.
So David laid the foundation?
Well, you're assuming that it's David, but this
writer of Psalm.
I'm not sure that it gives an authorship for this particular psalm, but
not all the psalms for David.
But anyways, so yes, he is telling the human being that the human being is going to lay the foundations of the new heavens and the new earth.
I think he froze.
I think Andrew froze
even
up.
this text, the first.
You there, Andrew? You keep freezing up, brother.
Let me pull up a text for you, okay?
What I did hear while you're pulling it up real quick is that you stated that it's the new heavens and new earth.
Right.
But if you keep reading in Hebrews, the new heavens and the earth isn't going to pass away or fade away. But when you keep reading in the text in 12 and 13, it states that those things will pass away.
Yeah.
Wait, no, let me chime in here. So one thing you got to keep in mind is that the originals also didn't come with chapters and verses, right? These are things added later. So Hebrews 1 actually rolls right into 2. In verse 4 in Hebrews chapter 2 actually does say that this is in reference to the world to come. So Hebrews chapter 2 verse 5, for it was not to angels that God subjected the world to come of which we are speaking. Right. So actually, he is speaking of the world to come. He says that in chapter 2, verse 5.
Well, let me help you out. So your point is that in the text, it says that in the beginning, you lay the foundation, but then it says that those heavens and earth will perish, but you will never, or those heavens and earth will pass away, but you will never perish. That's your point, right?
Correct.
Right. So even in Psalm 102, the author of Hebrews is reading this as proleptic in the future, at a future time in which these things will be laid in the future. Okay. Now, if you go to Isaiah 51:16, can you go to Isaiah 51:16, please? And read from the, let's see. Read from the NASB for me, please. You want me to read it?
Oh, I thought you was talking to Marlon. My fault. I thought he was one pulling up the verses. My bad.
What verse you want to pull up?
Let me see. I can.
Isaiah 51. He said.
Hebrew what? Hebrews what?
It's Isaiah 51:16 in NASB.
51:16.
Yeah, and keep in mind that in Psalm 102, what's the context of Psalm 102? He's talking about a future time in which God's going to restore Zion. That's the context of Psalm 102. And let's keep this in mind when we read Isaiah 51:16. NASB.
And ESV, right? You want the ESV?
No, NASB.
NASB, got you.
Yeah.
Let me set that up real quick.
And we'll remember again, the context of Psalm 102 is about a future time in which God is going to restore Zion. That's the context, okay? In Isaiah 51, it's the same exact context. And what he says in Isaiah 51:16, he says, I have put my words in your mouth and covered you with the shadow of my hand to establish the heavens and to found the earth and to say to Zion, you are my people. So this is a future time in which God's going to put his words in the prophet's mouth to establish the heavens and the earth at a future time. That's the context here in Isaiah 51. That's the context in Psalm 102. And in Hebrews 2:5, he tells us the subject matter about the epistle that we're writing concerns the world that's to come. The Son laid the foundation of the new heavens and the new earth. The old order, including the old covenant, is going to pass away. That's the context, because it's said proleptically.
Okay, so with that,
go ahead. You got it.
So with that, if now you're stating that with what you brought, that this is about what's to come and not, what happened apparently. But in Isaiah 65:17, Yahweh will be the one who creates the new heavens and the earth. So either way, this passage will still be showing and displaying, if you believe that it's Jesus, that Yahweh will still be Jesus.
No, because God creates the new heaven and new earth because he puts the words in the mouth of the prophet to accomplish it on his behalf. The same way that we can read that God.
No.
He froze again.
Andrew frozen. Boy, you gotta get the high-speed internet, bro. You gotta get the high speed, Andrew.
Come back.
Andrew.
But hey, while we wait for him, I'll chime in here too. So, there also is good argument to be made that if we can agree that Jesus is the word by which the world was created through, and Yahweh is the one who created with his word, then it's actually quite suitable to apply this praise, this psalm, to the Son. That makes a lot of sense. It actually says that earlier in the verse. It says all things were made through him. Right? We agree with that as Unitarians.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? And I'm not a Trinitarian. I'm coming from a different perspective as a Jehovah's Witness. But if Hebrews 1:10 is talking about the new heavens and the new earth, and the context of the scripture is Zion, then that new heaven and new earth would have still happened in the past.
No.
It would have been the establishment of Israel.
No,
it would have been the calling of Israel out of Egypt.
Now no, because it's a future sense. So no matter how bro, this is how the author of Hebrews is reading this text. So you can disagree with him if you'd like. But even when you go to Isaiah 51, it says, "For Yahweh will comfort Zion and will look with compassion upon her ruins. He will make her wilderness like Eden." He's talking about the new heavens and the new earth.
So you're reading Psalms now, not.
No, I'm in Isaiah 51.
Okay.
I was just reading.
Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, let's get back. Okay, I'm trying to understand the connection between this and Unitarianism. So let's make the connection so we can get back on track.
Well, his argument was, well, how could Jesus be lay the foundations of the earth if he's not God? What I'm telling you is the context of Hebrews 1, as it says in Hebrews 2:5, is that the whole context of the whole epistle, the subject matter, is about the new heavens and the new earth. That's the answer. So if you want to move on to another answer, that's our answer. It's not going to change.
And think about this, by the way, because all of
your
these
answer is.
So, well, I just wanted to say, and keep in mind that all of these things are justifications for why God exalts Jesus, right? So that's another key piece of information here, because how is that even possible? How is that possible? If Jesus is God by nature, how and for what reason is he being exalted?
Because they exalt each other.
Right. I mean, that's not really helpful. But going back to Andrew,
that is helpful, because he is being exalted by this is a justification for exaltation.
Yes.
Amen. Because he took on flesh and carried out the will. So I mean, that doesn't again. So Andrew, real quick, again, you're stating that the writer of Hebrews is stating that this is about the new heavens and the earth. Okay, even if it is, again, I don't agree with you. Again, you're trying to say that this is the context for that, but yet we both agree, well, at least I think we both agree that the new heavens and the earth will not pass away. In this verse, and again, both Psalms and Hebrews, it says, your years are from generation to all generations. Of old you founded the earth, and of old you founded the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. Even they will perish, but you will remain. So I'm not seeing where I see what you're trying to do by stating it's the new heavens and the earth, but while we read in the actual context of what's going on, is the new heavens and the earth passing away? Is that what you're going to go with? But to that point again, even if it is about the new heavens and the earth, again, when we read Isaiah 65:17, it lets us know either way that Yahweh is the one who creates the new heavens and the earth. So again, if this is about the new heavens and the earth, the Father is stating this about Jesus, who will create the new heavens and the earth, which again, Isaiah is stating that it's Yahweh. And now
it's the same dynamic of how God delivered the Israelites out of Egypt, but it was Moses who delivered the Israelites out of Egypt. We could say that God is the one who delivered us from Egypt, but we wouldn't say that Moses didn't do it, right? We wouldn't.
Well, I don't think in the passages that Moses has the same ability, honor, name, deed, anything else that God has, because we know that it's Moses, but we would say that about Jesus. When we see Jesus, we see that whatever the Father can do, the Son can do likewise. So you're trying to conflate what we see from Moses in the Old Testament to where we see Jesus now. And again, if this is Jesus, so he has the power to, again, you're the one saying it's the Old Testament or New Testament, or excuse me, you're the one saying that's the new heavens and the earth. But again, it's Yahweh saying that he's the one who's doing it, but yet Yahweh is letting us know both that it is Jesus.
Okay,
so again, you're trying to state that as, hold on real quick. So you're trying to state that as Moses, but yet when we see Moses, we can see that Moses does not have near the understanding that Jesus has when he is incarnation, or when he's incarnate, and obviously before that as well.
Okay, so listen, I want to point out a problem that I think this passage entails for you if what you're saying is true. That when it's saying your throne, O God, and you, Lord, laid the foundations of the earth, that this is calling Jesus Yahweh, or that he's equal in substance, right? Or homoousios, as they would say 300 years later. There's another problem here. Okay, so do you agree that Yahweh is the highest being in existence?
Yep.
So then Yahweh cannot have a God.
If Yahweh puts on flesh, for sure he can. In Jeremiah, 27, I believe it says that God's the God of all flesh. So, I mean, again, when Jesus puts on flesh and lowers himself and puts himself in the form of servant, there's no issue with that. That's what Trinitarian theology is.
I didn't say, can the flesh have a God? I said, can Yahweh have a God? Okay.
Does Jesus put on flesh?
Okay. The answer, or excuse me, you're not answering.
The person of Jesus can have a God.
Okay. Can Yahweh have a God? Albert, basic question.
Jesus, who is one of the persons of God, who is known as Yahweh, can have a God. Yes. Again, I don't know how many times you want me to say it.
Okay, so Albert, why are you not really answering the question? Okay.
How did I not answer your question?
Well, why don't? Or how about? Let me put it like this: why don't you just say yes? Yahweh can have a God.
Because I'm not going to have you try to not understand what I'm saying. I'm making myself clear by the statement.
What do you
I'm talking
mean?
about.
What do you mean? You're saying you believe this is saying he's Yahweh.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm asking you, can Yahweh have a God?
Again, the second person, who is Jesus, who is Yahweh, can have a God. Yes.
And what sense do you believe Jesus is Yahweh? By identification or predication?
Well, in Isaiah,
I reject your view of transitivity when it comes to his identity.
I mean, if you accept
the reason, by the way, the reason why I reject your identity claim of transitivity is because it only equates to a unipersonal being. It doesn't equate, or it doesn't account for a tripersonal being. So I reject your view of that.
This is one of the basic laws of logic. If you're saying that Jesus is
Yahweh, for a unipersonal being,
there's no law of logic that only applies to unipersonal beings. It applies.
Well, that's not true. I mean, we can talk to Dr. Joshua Sijuwade. You can talk to Dr. Josh Tweed.
No, he agrees with us. He agrees with us. He believes Jesus is God only by predication.
Wait, so he agrees with you? So you believe that Jesus is God?
By predication.
No. You believe that Jesus is God, the one God.
By predication. He can be called.
No. That's not what he believes. He said, Dr. Joshua wanted to bring it up. He believes that Jesus is the one God.
No, you're sleeping. What we're saying is Dr. Sijuwade agrees with us that the Father alone is Yahweh by identity. He believes that the Son is Yahweh only by predication. So what I'm asking you, are you saying that Jesus is God by identity or predication?
Again, I reject your claim of transitive identity.
Laws of logic. So you lose, you forfeit the right to make a truth claim.
Wait, what? How? In what way is that debate? Am I not distinguishing?
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Let him finish. He's making a false claim.
No, you can address that when he's done talking.
I didn't know you. I didn't know you were the moderator.
Yeah, he's my friend. I'm going to help him. I'm going to help him. Let him finish.
I know he needs help right now.
All right, Marlon. Please.
All right. Hey, Mike, my name is Marlon.
Marlon. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Marlon. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good. All right, so we got a lot of people here that's waiting to have their question asked. So what's your name again? Green screen, I forget your name, man. What'd you say? Albert?
Albert. Yes, sir.
Albert. I don't want to forget your name. All right, cool, man. Thank you, man, for that question. So I think we got who's below you. What's your name?
Fox only, brother.
All right. You've been waiting patiently. Go ahead. What's your question, man?
All right, so my question is, well, actually, I'm gonna read a verse. I'm gonna read a passage. Then I'm gonna ask my question. So the passage is 1 Corinthians 10, 1-4. And it says, give me 1 second, I'm going to it. It says, for I do not want you to be unaware, brothers, that our fathers were all under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank from the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ. So would you all agree right here that the agent of Christ is this spiritual rock?
Yeah, and just because Jesus and the Father may share a metaphor doesn't mean they're the same being.
So is Paul calling Jesus the spiritual rock?
Yes,
that the Israelites drank from.
They can share a title, and that does not entail that they are the same being. So that you're just you'd have to argue for that.
So can I finish? So you're saying that Paul is calling Christ the rock that the Israelites drank and ate from, correct?
Okay, can you
show, by faith.
But in the,
so
in the Old Testament,
and who is that rock?
In the Old Testament, there's not a single instance in the Old Testament where a rock followed them around.
Okay, I got you. So I'm going to read Deuteronomy 32, 3-4. For I will proclaim the name of the Lord, ascribe greatness to our God, the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are justice, a God of faithfulness, and without iniquity, just and upright is he. And another passage, Deuteronomy 32, the same chapter, verses 15-18. But Jeshurun grew fat and kicked. You grew fat, stout, and sleek. And he forsook God who made him, and scoffed at the rock of his salvation. They stirred him to jealousy with strange gods. With abomination they provoked him to anger. They sacrificed to demons that were no gods, to gods they had never known, to new gods that had come recently, whom your fathers had never dreaded. You were unmindful of the rock that bore you, and you forgot the God who gave you birth.
Okay, you can just keep reading, but this has been addressed already. Okay, Jesus and the Father can share a metaphor of a rock without entailing that they are the same being. Let me finish. We let you read that whole verse, bro. Let me finish. Okay, so just because they share a metaphor does not make them the same being. That's a fallacy of non sequitur. You're just reading a verse and acting like that is self-evident. It's not. Number two, there are other places in scripture where people share titles like that, such as the shepherd, okay, Yahweh, Jesus, even David is called the shepherd, okay? So just because, same thing, just because they share a metaphor doesn't mean they're one in essence, okay?
So what metaphor is this?
Did you not hear, Andrew? It wasn't literally a rock which followed them around throughout the wilderness.
Yeah,
you know that, right?
Christ
so then this is a metaphor.
Hold on. So stop rambling, right? The verse says they drank from the spiritual rock. So we know it's not a literal rock.
Okay, show in the Old Testament.
Who is the spiritual rock? I just showed you
in the Old Testament where they drank from a spiritual rock. So you have to understand that.
Bro, no, I got you. I got you then. So let me walk you down. So who is the God that fed them and gave them drink?
Bro, that tradition of the traveling rock exists in intertestament literature. It doesn't exist in the Old Testament. You'll never find anywhere in the Old Testament where a rock followed them around and gave them
literally, bro. Yahweh is called the rock that followed them. What are you talking about?
But it doesn't talk about that Yahweh was a spiritual rock that followed them in the wilderness.
Why did Moses call him the rock? Why does Isaiah call him the rock, bro? Isaiah 44.
Why is Peter called the rock?
Hold on, I got you.
No.
Peter is not called the rock that followed the Israelites.
Okay,
you will never see that.
Okay, neither is Yahweh in the Old Testament. You have to
understand. Yes, he is, bro. I just showed you right here in Deuteronomy 32, 3-4. What are you talking about?
No, he's called the rock, but he's not.
Isaiah 44:8, bro. It literally says, "For fear not, nor be afraid."
You're not tracking. You need to speak less and listen more. No, you're not. You're literally not tracking.
You are my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? There is no rock. I know not any.
Do you think we're not acknowledging that he's called the rock?
Everybody calls God the rock.
You don't think we're acknowledging that?
And then Paul is calling Christ the rock. The same rock.
Where in the Old Testament does it say that God was a rock who followed the Israelites in the wilderness?
Who followed the Israelites, sir?
See, you're just begging the question.
I'm asking you. So was it Yahweh or not? Did Yahweh follow the Israelites or not?
Yes or no? Is there a text which tells us explicitly that God was a rock who followed the Israelites around and gave them water?
The spiritual rock, yes. That's what they called him.
None of the verses.
God is spirit, and they called him the rock. So what does that mean? Spiritual rock.
It doesn't say that it followed them around in the wilderness.
So you're saying that Yahweh, who they called the rock, didn't follow the Israelites?
There's no text that says that. And so first of all,
so are you saying that Yahweh, who they called the rock, did not follow the Israelites and feed them and give them drink? Yes or no?
It doesn't.
Just give me a yes or no, bro, and then that's it.
The Old Testament does not say that God was a rock.
Can I have a yes or
following
no,
the
bro?
Israelites
Is
around.
Yahweh, whom they call the rock, did he follow them and feed them and give them drink? Yes or no?
No.
All right, I don't got nothing else to say. I
He's
don't
not
got
a
nothing else
rock,
to say.
bro.
Okay.
Okay, bye. I mean, whatever. You
You
want
can move on to somebody else, Marlon.
God's a
I'm
rock.
done.
God's a rock. You know, he's
I'm
just
done.
literally feeding
all you're
people
doing-
That's a
from
clip
his
for me, y'all. Thank you.
from his rock essence, right? Just following them in the wilderness.
And all you're
Dude,
proving
that was
is
weak sauce. No.
If you want to say that the Father was the rock, and all of a sudden you want to say Christ is the rock, then you're just saying that Christ is
Who
the Father.
said the Father is the rock?
I mean, but I think what he's getting at, just sort of close this out because we do have to move on. I think where he's getting at is saying that there's a connection between the reference of the rock being connected to Jesus and the reference of the rock being connected to Yahweh in the Old Testament, and how the references are tied together. And so I think what he's trying to get at is that he's trying to make sure that you guys understand that verse is essentially connecting the two there. And so how do you guys deal with that issue there? If you guys consider it an issue, how do you deal with that?
So he has to prove that that's Christ in the Old Testament, who's calling Yahweh and who's the rock. He hasn't proved that. He begged the question with that, and he asserted that. So when you talk about 1 Corinthians 10,
Paul just said it for me.
Quiet.
He said the rock was Christ.
Let him finish.
That's it.
So when you talk about when you look at 1 Corinthians 10, it's making a comparison between the old covenant with Moses and the new covenant with Christ. Christ and all of these things are to the new covenant in the new Exodus, what all of those things like Moses were to the old covenant. So Christ is now the spiritual rock. To understand this text, though, you have to first understand there's no text in the Old Testament which talks about a rock following the Israelites around. That's an intertestament tradition. That's
I just read it, bro. Like this monologue and at this point, you're lying. I just read it. Deuteronomy 32, 3-4, bro. I just read it.
Oh, you're right, bro.
Moses called Yahweh, who is a spiritual God,
You're right, bro.
the rock.
There you go.
So that's a spiritual rock.
All right.
Okay. So let me ask you a few questions, and maybe we can close this out.
No more questions. Do
you believe that Jesus is the same rock that is described in the Old Testament with Yahweh?
Amen.
So is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, so is Jesus the Father?
The Father is never described as the rock. Show me where the Father is described as the rock.
Well, Yahweh again is a personal proper name.
Yahweh
which
is three persons.
To
That's
persons.
All three persons are called Yahweh.
That's called presupposing Trinitarianism.
Genesis
right?
16, 11 through 13. The angel of Yahweh is called Yahweh.
You have to prove
so
it.
again,
You have to prove
all
it.
three persons are called Yahweh.
You know what? I think I've just
somebody else.
decided. I think I've just decided. I'm three persons now.
Me too.
I'm three persons.
He crashed it out.
Really though, I'm one nature. I'm one essence. Right? I'm human.
That's on you, bro.
I'm
you can
three
decide
persons.
that for yourself.
No,
Address the Bible.
Tell me, do you think that I'm saying?
I don't want to tell you
if I told you that I was if I told you I was three persons, would you think I was crazy?
I would tell you to show me that in the Bible.
Listen, be genuine, honest person. You're a Christian, right?
I would say, can you
tell
show me
the
that in the
truth.
Bible?
No, I'm telling you that if I came
you could,
up
then
to
I would
you,
agree. If you can't, then I would disagree.
Dude, quiet. Let me finish. Answer honestly. Okay. So if I came up to you and I told you I am three persons. Okay. Do you think do you think I'd be crazy? Do you think I'd be sane? What do you think?
I'm gonna say, bro, can you show me that in the Bible?
I'm not claiming that the Bible says I'm three persons.
But I'm talking about biblical
text.
That's what we're talking about. Biblical theology right now.
Okay, so all right. What you're doing is avoiding the fact that you're presupposing that God is three persons, which is crazy. It's just crazy. Okay,
run to philosophy for some reason.
No, in every example we have in our world, when someone believes that they have multiple persons with them, multiple personalities, multiple spirits, multiple entities, multiple beings, we believe that they have disabilities, they have mental issues. Okay,
now he can't address Unitarianism. Now he's doing this.
It's split personality disorder. Okay,
God
because
y'all, bro. I ain't about to keep listening.
No, we answered your question.
God bless y'all. I'm gonna talk to you, Albert. Thank you, Marlon, for having me up here, bro.
All right, bye.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you for the question.
Have a good night, man.
All right. So next I got what's your name? The one with the Kango hat on. I don't know if it's Kango. I don't know if it's the literally brand Kango, but look like a Kango hat. What's your name, bro? I think you're muted. Are you muted? Uh-oh. May not have your audio, man. Let me see if I have your audio. You know what? I don't have your audio. I don't see your audio bar. I can move on. Maybe you want to come back, fix that, and then I can get your question at the end or something. All right. All right. So now I got old boy with the glorious beard, man. I'm trying to have a beard like you, man. One day. I want a beard like that. One day, one day.
It's too white.
All right.
Too much white hair in there.
Too white. All right, man. What's your name, man?
My name's Eric.
All right. And we got a question for Andrew. What position you represent? That's what I should ask too. What position you represent?
Yeah, I represent the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay. Jehovah's Witness, man. Y'all, man, you need to start talking to your boys, man, because them cats they be shook to get on these panels, man. They be shook up, man. You better start telling them to be courageous, get on these panels and get interrogated, because you already know what it is, man.
Right. Hey, some people don't like the heat.
All right. Yeah,
so I got a question about the because I do read Dr. Michael Heiser, and so I guess there's a couple questions because they don't believe in pre-existence, but Jehovah's Witnesses do. But as far as with the divine council worldview of Scripture, there doesn't seem to be this strict delineation between personification and actual existence. So they didn't have this like, this thing existed notionally only, right? And didn't actually exist. So like in Psalms 91, it'll talk about the terror of the night and the arrow that flies by day. But there's Targums, the Septuagint, that said that while they're personifying things that can harm, they actually thought that these were actual demonic entities. They didn't go, this is just a notional existence of a plague. They thought the bringer of the plague is an actual person. So I guess the question would be, why do you guys think that these ancient Near Eastern people, that's the context that Israel found themselves in, why would they strictly draw a line between notional existence and actual existence?
All right, before you answer that question, Albert, did that you give the super chat to the ministry? I appreciate you, man, for that, man. I really do. Thank you for showing the love, man. Appreciate it. That's going to go towards the conference. If y'all don't know about the TGT conference, man, hey, I think I have got together the greatest debate conference in history. Like real spit, man. I mean, you talk about like Dr. James White. He gonna be debating what's the old boy name? Dang,
Dustin Smith.
Dustin Smith.
I bought my ticket. I'm ready. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fire, guys. So any funds you guys give, that's where it's going to. Now back to the question. My bad. Go ahead, Mike and Andrew. You guys got it.
So can you say your actual
The question is again, for what part of your denial of the pre-existence is you're saying when they speak about him, when they personify him as wisdom or the Logos, this is only notional. Saying my question would be these people had a supernatural worldview, and there was no strict line between. They could personify something like plague or disaster. Like the example I gave was Psalms 91, where they talk about the terror of the night, the arrow that flies by day. But the Septuagint version, which is an interpretation, they thought that these were actual demonic entities. So they could personify these demons. Oh, this is an arrow. This is the terror. But they knew them to be actual and existing in their world.
All right, so I have like a ton of good examples for you to establish notional pre-existence. Okay, let's just start firing them. So 1 Peter 1:20, talking about Jesus, says that he was foreknown. Okay, this word foreknown is talking about notional pre-existence. That's what it's mental knowledge. He foreknew. Okay. Here's a good one for everybody, not even just the Messiah, but Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." Okay, notional
Okay, but
pre-existence.
before we
Okay,
get off
no,
base, because
I'm not done. I got more. There's
I'm
way
talking
more to
about
this.
personifications, though. Show me where, because we talk about.
Okay, so
You said notional pre-existence, and I'm
Yes,
showing you a
a
bunch.
strict line between.
Check this
because-
out.
Hold on there, Mike, because I'm asking you about when Christ is personified as logos or wisdom. So I'm talking about the personifications. I'm not saying that they couldn't spoke about things notionally, but when they're personifying him as a character that lived in the Old Testament times, you're saying, oh, that's just notional. And now you're pointing to texts that aren't personifying people or entities as an example of to outweigh what my argument is.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding you.
Yes.
I want to understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I want to understand what you're saying, because you said that Christ was
Yes. So
personified as the Logos.
someone brought up John 1. He's personified as the Logos.
Yeah. So for instance, Jesus is not the Logos, and Jesus is not personified as the Logos. Jesus is not even in
In John 1
until the Logos. Yes, until the Logos becomes flesh. Then in the human person, Jesus, the Logos becomes incarnate. The Logos is not a person. Wisdom is not a person.
No. So you're
personification.
saying that the Son in John 1 is not called the Logos. He's not.
It doesn't say in the beginning was the Son. It
Was
says
the
in the
Word,
beginning was
yeah.
the Logos. So what's the Logos? Look in any lexicon at the definitions of what Logos is. It's reason, computation,
Yeah,
word.
okay, but
something to
now
that
I think you're committing the same thing that James White did in his debate with Del Tuggy. You can't just look at a lexicon. You have to look at the ancient Near Eastern context that words were written in. So that's why we look to ancient texts. And when that's why I brought up Psalms 91. When they talk about disaster and plague, they think these things are real. In the book of Jubilees, it talks about when now I'm not saying that the book, I just view Jubilees as a historical record. When they were talking, when after the flood, Noah and his sons were plagued by demons. And
okay, but here, wait, that's off topic.
no,
though.
but what I'm
Well,
saying is I'm showing how they're not separated.
Let me stop you,
In the
bro.
book of Jubilees,
Because I
when
think
they
I think the first mistake that you're making is making a blanket statement about what all Jews believe.
No, I never
There's
said
many
that.
different traditions. Well, you did. You said they believe that these were demons and XYZ. So first of all, when you look at a lexicon, you're looking at the first layer of the hermeneutical context. So you have the text, you have the paragraph, the verse, the chapter, the book, the author, the New Testament, the Old Testament, the historical context, and the cultural context. So we can look at all those different layers of context, but they're not going to prove what you're trying to say. If you look at all those different layers of context, they're only going to prove that the Logos is not a person. So even in the historical context, the Logos is not a person.
No, that's false. You quote Philo a lot. Philo says the Logos is Melchizedek. He literally says he's the firstborn of angels. So he thinks Melchizedek. There are times when Philo will allegorize. He allegorizes Abraham even. Oh, this king is this. But he tells you that the Logos is the firstborn of angels. He mentions elsewhere these Melchizedek. He doesn't not think that Melchizedek isn't an actual person.
You're conflating. So you're talking about Philo. Okay, so first of all, anybody who studies Philos knows that he doesn't have this like systematic one view of this is definitely what the Logos is. He speaks figuratively. He's an exegete. And so if you want to look at Philo and his view of the Logos, he doesn't think that the Logos is literally Melchizedek. So you're just distorting what Philo.
He does.
No, bro.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you, I have about 12 books. I have about 12 books on Philo, including all of his works,
I do
bro.
too. But I got extra work. When
Philo says that, okay, first of all, are you aware in Philo when he talks about the very distinction that's made in John 1 about the difference between identity and predication with the word theos?
Say that part again.
Okay, Philo, before the Gospel of John was written, already spoke about the difference between the use of God in identity and predication. Are you aware of that?
No, I don't know how that reflects to a personification of the actual, though, but go ahead.
Okay, so when you talk about Philo and his view of the Logos, he sees it as a blueprint which God created the world through. So a blueprint is not a person. You agree, right? A blueprint is not a person. So you have to understand the theology of Philo. Don't bring Philo into the conversation if you don't know
I do know about Philo.
So
Because Philo treats Melchizedek. What I just said is he can treat actual historical persons, speaking of them allegorically, just like we do today. I could say today, Michael Jordan is the epitome of excellence. We have to strive to be a Michael Jordan in our life. That does not mean that I don't think he's an actual person who exists. So when you're quoting scholars who are trying to put, Philo's contradictory, which I don't think is a gracious way to view a writer of ancient times. He's allegorizing.
Okay, that's your opinion. But do you study him? No, you don't study him. You don't know anything really about him.
I know enough about Philo as you do. Don't accuse me of what I.
I'm gonna let you. Okay, guys. I'm gonna let you. All right, we're gonna transition. We got a lot more people in here. Thank you.
I want to talk to you future, but I'll let people talk. Thanks, Marlon. Thanks for having me.
Hey, if you got a partner, because I've been wanting to do real quickly. I'm about to try to set up another open panel. As I told you before, Jehovah's Witness, man, they'll be wanting to come on these panels, man.
I'll come up every time.
I commend you for the bravery, and so doing that, I would like to set up an open panel discussion with you, and maybe you can get somebody else to team up with you about Jehovah's Witness. So I'm not sure if you got my email or whatever, but maybe you get my email and we can converse about it. We can talk about it and see if we can set it up.
Is your email available on your YouTube page?
Yeah, go in the description of my videos and you scroll all the way to the bottom. You see my email.
Okay, I'll definitely reach out.
All right, for sure. Thank you,
Thanks for the conversation, Mike and Andrew, and fellas. Have a good night.
God bless, man.
All right. Yep. All right, I think I left off. I think what's his name? Gaza? Let me see. Garza, Al Garza. All right, Garza. All right, so I know you came back. I don't want to skip over you, man. So Al, it looked like, do I have your audio now? I think I got your audio now. I think you're good now. So you said you had a question. What you got, man?
Yeah, I have a question first. For either one is fine. I wanted just to clarify it before I actually ask the question is when you see the word of the Lord, let's say, appeared to Abraham in Genesis 15, who to you personally, who is that speaking to Abraham as the word? Who is that to you?
That's the Lord.
The Lord himself?
It's a theophany of the Lord. It's a manifestation of him. It's not equal to him in like the fullness of his nature. Like say what Moses experienced on the mount. Not the same.
Not the same. Okay, but
you're also assuming it's a person.
Well, I'm going to get to that. That's part of my question. I just wanted to define the terms with you guys, who the word of the Lord is.
Well, you're assuming it's a who, though. You're saying it's a who. You're assuming that it's a what? It's a message.
Well, that's why I'm asking you, because when for example, the first part is when he appears to Abraham in a vision and he speaks to him. I know he's identified as the Lord himself. So that is the Lord to you guys appearing as the word or speaking as the word, or what is your
He's manifesting or communicating. It's a communication from Yahweh.
Yeah, I got you right here.
Right, but it is Yahweh, right?
Okay.
Yes. The Father is manifesting. He's communicating to someone. Yes.
Okay. So then here's my question based on that. In 1 Kings 19, which I'd like to get your guys' take on this, the word of the Lord appears to Elijah and speaks to him and says, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Who is that who's speaking to Elijah when he's seeing the word of the Lord speaking to him? He appears to him at the cave.
You keep assuming it's a person.
I'm telling you, okay, listen, I'm not assuming. I'm telling you what the text says. You want me to read it? I'll read it. I'm just asking you when it says, then he came there to the cave and lodged there, and behold, the word of the Lord came to him. And he said to Elijah, which you got pronouns here, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" So the he who is speaking to Elijah, who is the he?
It's Yahweh.
Yeah, it's Yahweh. I got you.
Okay,
Here,
good.
can I share
Okay.
my screen? Can I show him
Yeah,
this?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. So it's Yahweh. We agree with that the he who's speaking to Elijah is Yahweh, right?
Yes, who is the Father alone.
Okay.
Yes,
So then here's what Elijah says in the text. He said, I have been very zealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the sons of Israel have forsaken your sons, your covenant, torn down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they seek my life to take it away. So he said, go forth and stand on the mountain before Yahweh. So that he, the word, who you said is Yahweh, tells Elisha to go stand before Yahweh at the mountain. So you're saying the he of the word of the Lord, which you just admitted is Yahweh, yet he tells Elijah to go stand before Yahweh. And then Yahweh appears to Elijah and says, what are you doing here, Elijah? A second Yahweh on the mountain appears to Elijah and asks him the same exact question. And they have the same exact conversation that he just had with the word.
Did you say
So
a second Yahweh?
Yes, he did.
That's what the text says.
Okay, so how many Yahwehs are there, bro? How many Yahwehs are there?
Okay, hold on.
How many Yahwehs are there?
Hold on. This is called a red herring when you're diverting from what's being said here.
You said another Yahweh.
That's what you told me the word is Yahweh and the Father
No,
alone.
I'm asking you. Okay, so are you telling us our position, or I'm asking you how many Yahwehs do you believe in?
The verse is saying,
how many Yahwehs do you believe in?
Okay, Andrew, I'm not interpreting the verse. I want you to answer who this person who just stood before Elijah as the word, who you admitted is Yahweh, and then that Yahweh tells him to go stand before Yahweh.
You're assuming that the word is a person.
Marlon, let me show him this, please.
You just said he was. He said he.
Marlon,
he
excuse me.
Zealous. He spoke
Yes,
to
it's
Elijah.
the Father manifesting a communication to a
Then
person.
why are
The
they
word
having the
is the
same
communication.
conversation?
A communication
Why?
is not a person; it's a message.
He just said he, pronoun, the word, spoke to Elijah. The he. You admit that pronouns mean something here, and you told me right now it's the Father alone.
But you know, Dr. Al Garza, you know that in Hebrew there's a genitive construction, right?
Oh, this is okay. A construct state here, it doesn't give you this in the context because I'm telling you, Andrew, this you have to interpret this verse. You admitted to me right now that the word is Yahweh, and they have a conversation.
No, I didn't
and then
say that the word. No.
Yes, you did. You said that's the Father alone that's speaking to Elijah in verse 9.
You're distorting what I'm saying. You're misrepresenting my position. So let me tell you.
Here's my question to you. Here's my question. I just want you to answer simply. In this context that I just read, in this very context, you have the word he of the Lord speaking to Elijah. That conversation is repeated after that word of the Lord who is
no.
He told him to go stand before Yahweh.
There you go.
And that Yahweh who then comes to Elijah, two conversations are identical in Hebrew. They're identical in the Greek. You have to tell me how you can have the word of the Lord, who you say is not a person. You say he's not a person, but yet it's he who speaks to Elijah and then has the same conversation. So does God like have a schizophrenia where he says, I'm going to speak to you as the word, but now I'm going to come to you as the Lord and have the same conversation with you if they're not two different persons? This shows distinction in this context. Distinction within persons, the word and Yahweh.
No, you're assuming.
You have to deal with that. No, I'm not assuming. That's what the text says in Hebrew.
No, that's how you're interpreting the text.
No, I'm not interpreting it. I'm telling you, you read it.
You
It says it clearly.
What are you talking about?
I am not. I just read it. It just says what it says.
Okay.
The word told Elijah, go stand before the Lord. I'm not interpreting it. I just read it.
Yes.
If I want to give you an interpretation, then I'm going to give you a whole commentary on it. But I'm telling you, the text just says what it says. The word appeared, asked Elijah. In fact, even Elijah says,
everybody can read, but you're interpreting it.
I'm not interpreting. I just read it.
You
I just
are
read
interpreting it because you're assuming
how do I interpret it?
You're assuming that the pronoun refers back to the word, and you're assuming the word is a person. The word of Yahweh. What's that?
You just said it was when I first. That's why I asked you first before I get onto it. You said, "Oh, it's he. That's the word, the Father alone, who's speaking to Elijah as the word."
What I'm telling you is you've misrepresented my position. I did not say that the word is identical to the Father.
That wasn't my question.
Okay, so
so
let's establish
to
that first.
Elijah. Hold on. I asked you who was speaking to Elijah, and you said that's the word. And I said, well, who's the he there? That's the word called. You said that's the Father, God alone. That's what you said. And I said, okay, let's keep reading now. We went to read further that word who you called the Father alone, which I don't say it's the Father, but I say it's the word who's the second person, identifies Yahweh who is coming to Elijah next and has the same conversation. This is what I understand. This is the same conversation they just had with word that Elijah's speaking out to another person. That's what the text says. Yes, I can give you interpretation, but I'm telling you that's what the text says.
I'll give you the fundamental error that you're making so you can understand our position, okay? When you have the Hebrew construct, word of Yahweh, it's not an appositional genitive construction. It's not saying the word Yahweh, it's the word of Yahweh. It comes from Yahweh. It's a genitive of source or origin or possession. It's not an appositional genitive. It's not the word
That's
Yahweh.
Not going to help you. That's not going to help you. The context determines the usage of a construct state in Hebrew and that's how it works.
You tell me then.
This is why I'm saying that. This is why Hebrew scholars, other Hebrew scholars who are non-Trinitarians will identify what we spoke earlier as the angel of the Lord as Yahweh, appearing as Yahweh, and they understand the construct state, and I've spoken to them directly. The context determines. This is the context in 1 Kings 19. The word of the Lord, who's called he, spoke to Elijah, and then he told him to go stand before the Lord and spoke to him again in the same conversation.
Guess what?
You identified him as God alone, God the Father, as the first.
So I could go pull a scholarship right now. Matter of fact, if you look up any standard dictionary,
can you stay on 1 Kings 19? Just
let me
give me an
finish.
answer.
I'll let you finish. So let me finish. So what you're saying is that, well, I can go point to a Hebrew scholar who says the angel is Yahweh. That's just
on a construct state, yeah.
And then you say, well, the context determines, but you didn't prove from the context. So when you consider context, it's not just the immediate context of this chapter. You have to look at every single instance of the word of Yahweh throughout the whole Bible. And you come to an irrational conclusion when.
And the Targums, who are explanations.
How you're going to the Targums? You're jumping.
Because they tell you who the word is. You don't want to answer for. All I asked you was 1 Kings 19.
Now you're
highly debatable. You're talking about the Memra.
First of all, Mike, I agree with you. We can look at the Targum. I don't want to go there, but look at 1 Kings 9 on. Can you guys give a rational explanation of these two conversations that are identical in the language?
So
persons of he being spoken together with the same conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a fair question. So Marlon, could you please share my screen? So I'm going to pull up the original Hebrew right here, and we can look at it.
All right, go ahead, share it, because I know you were trying to share it earlier, but the little indication wasn't popping up to share it for whatever reason. I don't know.
Let me try again. Yeah,
try it again. Oh, there you go. All right, now here it is.
Awesome. Okay, so check this out. So here's the passage, 1 Kings 19. All right, so first thing I want to point out is that, listen, if it's containing the genitive construction here of Yahweh, then I think what Andrew said is true. This is not appositional, right? It doesn't say the word Yahweh. It says the word of Yahweh. That's number one. Number two, this is a classic misunderstanding of what the word even is. Okay, so here it is, the word. What is it? Let's pull up the original. This means speech.
Oh my God.
It's a word. Okay, so you can laugh, but when Andrew told you that this is a message from the Lord, okay, you scoffed at that, but that's actually what the word means. It's a word. When it says the word came to Isaiah, it's saying Yahweh's speech. That's literally what it means.
That's your answer. Brown Driver and Briggs' definition of a.
What is the definition of the word here?
That's word,
Mr. Garza. What is it? What's the definition?
In a construct case with the makif at the Hebrew, which is that little dash at the top, which makes the words pretty much sound as one word, one complete phrase in Hebrew. The word of the Lord.
Wrong.
That's what it is.
A genitive connects two nouns, not one.
No. You look up any with a makif. It's not without a makif. It has a makif in Hebrew, especially in Genesis 50. When I asked you, this is what I asked you. It's a simple question. The word of the Lord that came to Elijah in verse 9, is that Yahweh who's speaking to Elijah? Simple yes or no. You can identify it as a word speaking to Elijah, as a voice coming to Elijah, fine. But is it Yahweh? Is it Yahweh who's speaking to Elijah in verse 9?
Yeah, we already said that.
Okay,
and your rebuttal to that was that the word is a person. And you said that there's two Yahwehs.
The text says that the word told Elijah, the word of the Lord, the same person you said tells Elijah, go stand before the Lord. And then the Lord appears to him and says, what are you doing here, Elijah?
That was amazing.
Hold on. Did Yahweh not remember what he just talked to him about a few seconds ago in the mountain in the cave? I mean, you're not registering, because I know it's
we're not registering.
We're not registering.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. You're registering, but I know you're not adhering to the text. I'm saying here,
you're making this point about, you're talking about this dash, right? That's in between the two
no,
words.
Forget the dash. Forget the dash.
He's saying that the word is talking. You're claiming that the word is speaking.
He said the word. What are you doing here, Elijah?
No, it says the word of Yahweh.
Yes,
it's Yahweh speaking. He is Yahweh.
Thank you. That's what I want to know. That's
the word of the word of Yahweh.
Now tell me why verse 11, Yahweh, who's speaking as the word, tells Elijah to go stand before who? Himself?
Hold on.
Have a same conversation?
Okay, hold on. You said Yahweh who's speaking as the word.
No, hold on. Read verse 11.
Say Yahweh, who do you mean there?
Read verse 11.
No, you said Yahweh speaking as
Yahweh.
As the word.
You said there? Mike just said it's Yahweh the word. Yahweh who's speaking to Elijah.
No, I said it's Yahweh. It's not Yahweh the word.
Okay, so the word of the Lord who comes to Elijah, it says comes to him, the word of the Lord, and he says, now who's the he? Who does that go back to?
Yahweh. It's Yahweh's word. It says Yahweh's message, his words came to him.
Okay, the word, but it's still Yahweh, right?
Yeah, but Yahweh is Yahweh. The word isn't Yahweh.
Okay, granted. Now, what happened in verse 9 then?
Nothing.
Verse 11. What happened in verse 11?
Still nothing. There's no problem here. He told him to go stand before Yahweh.
Bro, but you have to
go stand before himself?
Bro, you have to look at you.
Is there a problem with that? Can God not say, please go stand before me somewhere else?
And let's repeat the conversation.
Did God not repeatedly tell Moses to go up on the mountain? What was he telling him? He's already there.
Did they have the same conversation, like a schizophrenic saying, "I'm talking here"?
Listen. My honest perspective on this stuff is that it's just laughable, dude. Like, think of how easy God could have made it for us if He was just and then quiet, and then if He said, and then Jesus,
give respect. Don't disrespect that way and say, "Be quiet." I'm not telling you to be quiet or shut up. Let's be respectful. I'll keep silent when you're speaking. I don't have a problem to say, "Hey, let me finish." But you're telling people to be quiet, that gets disrespectful. But I'll be respectful and just say, "Hey, let me finish." I will step back and say, "No problem, Mike. Go ahead."
All right. Hey, listen. I'm sorry if that offended you. Okay, I felt interrupted. It's tough. I'm saying because I'm trying to speak, right? And I can accept that. Okay. So, listen. Now I lost my train of thought. I genuinely feel bad. I'm sorry if I've upset you. Sometimes I don't mean to be too much.
Yeah, me neither. No problem.
Sorry. Okay, I got you trained. So listen, I just how easy would it have been if God was like, and then Jesus said, right? And then He could say, and then Jesus said, go stand before the Father. No, instead, what appears is the same name, Yahweh. Yeah. Okay, so this is referring to the same person because Yahweh is a name that applies to a person. So to me, this is just reaching. These are laughable arguments. This is what you got to squeeze out, when it's totally dry. You don't got much. Okay.
All right, guys. All right. So
let me quick response.
He said,
quick response.
Quick response.
All right, quick response, and then we're going to transition because it is getting to that point where I got to shut this thing down. So then we'll move on to the next person.
Gotcha. The reason he doesn't say Jesus said is because we're talking pre-incarnation. We're not talking about that part. Jesus, the Messiah, is not existing. We're talking about the word. All I made a point was this, and I wasn't trying to give commentary or my explanation. I'm saying the text says clearly that the word of the Lord appeared to Elijah. He spoke to Elijah. Elijah recognized him as Yahweh because he says, your people, your prophets, your altar. Then that same person who was speaking to Elijah, you said Yahweh, says, go stand before Yahweh, which you say it's himself, it should be no problem. But then the same conversation happens as if it never happened in the first place. This is where, in Jewish context, is what people think, okay, there is a distinction being made here between the word of Yahweh, who is Yahweh, as well as Yahweh himself, which I've made an argument for many times in my videos, saying these are two separate distinctions being made between the word and Yahweh in a conversation that is recorded here. That really, it's to me, it shows two distinct persons.
Okay.
I hear you.
You believe something.
All right. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. I think who we got next? I think is it Chris? Is it hold on. Adam. He's Adam.
Hey, bro, how you doing?
Adam. How you doing, Adam? What you got, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'd love to direct my questions to Metaphysic Mike, if that's possible, just because of your name.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So just by definition, correct me if I'm wrong, fundamental nature of reality, metaphysics seeks to understand the essential nature of things and the principles that underlie all existence.
Yeah, that's normal metaphysics. You also have special metaphysics, though, that deals in things that are slightly different, such as identity and time.
Cool. Okay. So I'm just trying to, because I'd like you to understand, I think you would be more capable, taking that name, you should be more capable of things that I want to bring to the table.
Hey, there's no need for that, bro.
Cool.
All right.
Respect, bro.
So let's go ahead and get to your question, Adam. What you got, man?
Thank you. So creation bears witness to its creator. You'd agree with that?
Sure.
Creation. Brilliant. So when we're talking about, is God spirit?
Yes.
God is spirit. So the spiritual things, the invisible things, don't operate in the physical ways, the classic physics, do they? So, I mean, I'm a classic Trinitarian, but the field of study, I mean, we've been celebrating it 100 years. I think this year was 100 years of quantum physics. I can't find contradictions inside the 6 properties of quantum physics with the Trinity. Have you studied quantum physics?
Yes, a little bit in terms of Trinitarian arguments. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Could you show me a contradiction between quantum physics and the Trinitarian verses? Anyone?
Bro, this is so desperate and weird.
Yeah.
You deleted the debate when I debated you. I
Can you debate the Bible, or you have to go to quantum physics, bro?
Well,
okay. So
you think people in the Old Testament, New Testament knew quantum physics when they were writing the Bible?
Last time we debated, you deleted the video on your side and pretended.
Last time we debated,
Okay. We're not gonna get into past debates. That's irrelevant to the discussion. I mean, if you have that question,
I got an answer.
If you guys understand that question, okay, Mike says he has a response, so Mike, go ahead and respond to that.
Okay, so to begin to understand the metaphysics, okay, the problems here, okay, I got to ask you a few questions. So what is a nature? Define it.
A nature?
Yeah.
I don't learn all these things. The nature, it's the characteristics of something.
Close. It's like the essential fundamental characteristics of something. So they're not just any characteristics, they're essential characteristics. Okay. Yeah. Wait, you shaking your head? You don't like metaphysics now? Okay. Okay. All right. So what define? All right. Now define person. Right. You believe God is one nature, essence, or substance, and 3 persons. Now define person. What is a person?
Person is something that's separate.
Okay, so I just want to let you know right off the jump, you come in to talk about metaphysics. You don't know what a nature is or what a person is in Trinitarian definitions. Okay, you don't know. All right, so listen. All right, so a few more questions. A few more questions here. Okay, so are the persons of the Trinity fully and equally God?
Well, if you were talking about the quantum realm, you'd have superposition. One particle being able to do multiple things at once.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know.
This guy's trolling, bro.
I know. In the triple point water example, I know. Okay. So it's but you believe that basically the same particle could exist in two different states simultaneously. Yes, and that goes into quantum physics. Yes.
It's the double slit experiment.
Yeah, okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. So are the persons of the Trinity fully and equally God?
Listen, superpositioning, does it exist? Or is it in? Is it?
All right, that's not an answer to this question.
No,
all right.
What I'm saying is,
no, you asked about the metaphysical problem of the Trinity. We defined what a nature is, right?
You're applying
and then
physical properties to a quantum realm, a spiritual realm.
This is the height of desperation for the Trinitarian.
Unbelievable.
You want to say that we don't understand the Bible, and this guy's coming here talking about quantum physics and superposition.
Doesn't even know the basics. Yeah. Can't define nature. Can't define person. This is laughable.
The person of the argument. You need to start applying. Excuse me. Let me
finish. Andrew. Let's chill, guys. Let's chill.
But I don't want to waste our time here with this guy, bro.
He's not answering the question, so we might as well just move on.
No. That's what Andrew wants you to do. You need to apply the quantum properties to the triune God who is spirit.
Just
it's not material. So your arguments fall short when you're talking about the quantum realm. There's 6 properties. You cannot distinguish a contradiction between any of the 6 properties of quantum physics.
You're not even making an argument. You're not even making an argument.
I'm in the Father as the Father is in me.
Okay, you're begging the question about what that text means.
So quantum boring. Doubting Thomas where he went through the wall. Spooky action at a distance. Prayer. That's Einstein. We can go on. We've got this field for 100 years. You deleted your debate. You cannot find one contradiction.
Okay, and now, now we're in left field, man. Listen, I'll ask you the question one more time, and we can either try and get this or not. Okay.
Me and you, Mike. Let's go.
Okay, are the persons of the Trinity fully and equally God?
Yes.
Okay, are the persons of the Trinity truly distinct, meaning Jesus is not the Father?
Positioning.
Okay, how many persons are there?
3.
Okay, so here we go. It's checkmate in 1. You ready? So if the persons of the quiet. If the persons of the Trinity are fully and equally God, and the persons are distinct, and there's 3 persons, then you have 3 distinct gods because the persons are God and they are distinct from each other. You accept the first 3 premises, but then deny the conclusion that necessarily follows. Okay, please, dude. You're not here to have an honest conversation if you keep cutting me off. Appealing to superposition in the 6 principles of quantum physics cannot explain away basic logical laws. Okay, if the persons are God and the persons are distinct, then God is distinct 3 times.
You are applying macro classic physics to a spiritual God.
Okay,
you can't apply those to the spiritual. When you apply the spiritual, it makes sense. It's the invisible realm.
But do you Bible though?
Yeah, of course I do, mate.
Okay, so you're talking about I and the Father and the Father's in me. So you're begging the question about what that text means. Our position is that text doesn't mean what you say it means.
What does quantum entanglement mean?
That when Jesus is talking about being in people and I am in the Father and I'm in them, it's not talking about being the same being as them. It's a metaphorical language. So that's our answer. Next,
define quantum entanglement for me, please, Andrew.
Dude, quantum entanglement, Adam, please. Quantum entanglement is not some theological license to try and bypass basic logical laws. Okay, superposition is not like synonymous for 3 persons and 1 being. Okay, physics may limit our knowledge, but it doesn't rewrite basic logical laws. Okay, in order for your analogy to be good, it must actually preserve logic. Okay, not defy it. That's what you've presented, and I think clearly you're confused and didn't even know the basics behind the doctrine of the Trinity.
It's the logical.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, Adam, I'll let you have this last statement, Adam, and then we're gonna move on to the last person because time is. I got 10 minutes, and that'll be it. So. Yeah, go ahead.
I struggle so much talking to Trinitarians and not educating them, say, if you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes in your life, I pray that you look at the 6 properties of quantum physics and any Trinitarian line, can you find a contradiction into how they work? The problem is with these gentlemen, they've never once displayed that they know one property and can't even give a definition of what it is. I implore you, do your due diligence. The Bible says there's many things that I want to tell you, but you cannot bear them now. And knowledge shall increase in the end times. As Trinitarians, we can defend the non-contradictions with the spiritual realm through quantum physics. It's the lack of education on our side that's allowing these people to get away. And when you allow them to apply materialistic physics to a spiritual God, it's illogical.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Peace, bro. Have a good one.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you, man.
God
Appreciate
bless,
you
Adam.
coming up, Adam. Thank you for coming back, man. I know
Yeah.
last time it was kind of cut short a little bit, but I appreciate you coming back, Adam.
Have a good one.
Remember, all you Trinitarians, he's saying that you guys lack any understanding and that you need to understand quantum physics to understand the Trinity.
They can disprove you. Have a great day. I pray that they do it. And why did you delete our debate? Because you got cooked, mate.
Okay. Because you're insane, bro.
All right, I got unfortunately Taylor, man. I know you're a Unitarian, Taylor, man. I don't know why you jumped on here, man. This panel's about Unitarianism, man. Well, I guess I know why you jumped on here, but I don't know if you're gonna get a chance to engage, Taylor, man, because I want to allow to go those who disagree with Unitarianism. And what's the individual that's up now? He got his camera on. He's been waiting patiently, man. So I don't want to undercut Lord Save. I don't want to undercut his opportunity, man. And then by the time he gets done, it's gonna be over, man. So I got you. I can't hear you, Taylor. Are you muted?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you, yeah, but I think Taylor either muted.
Can you hear me now?
Who's
Yeah, I
Taylor?
can hear you, Taylor.
Right.
I can hear you.
It will take like 1 second. I was just going to talk about one verse that was brought up before. It's Eliasm, when someone speaks of themselves in third person, which was, I think, this gentleman here bringing up. The other thing with just in relation to the quantum physics, the Bible says, do not be taken by empty philosophy, and God is not the author of confusion. But I'll leave it at that if you've got another person. So.
All right, thanks, Taylor, man. I got your email, and I can set that up, man. So just if you want to connect me to the person that you're talking to, that you're engaging with, we can set that up, man.
I think he was in this live stream earlier. He was in the chat as well. I've told him to reach out. He's actually there. Facts only.
Okay.
So.
Okay, yeah. Let's get in one group email or something, and we can discuss the details and get it set up.
No worries. I'll jump off then. Thank you very much.
All right, Taylor. Thanks, man. All right, Lord Save, you are closing out the show, man.
All right.
What you got, man? What you got?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay, sweet. So I've never debated Unitarians before. So all I know is you guys have a very interesting viewpoint on the distinction of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. You guys are very, very adamant on disagreeing that the Son is God. Is that correct? Or you guys are just saying that he's not one being with the Father, or he is literally the Father?
So the Bible uses the Greek word theos for Jesus many times. That's fine, right? Hebrews 1:8, John 1:1, we're aware of all of these. The problem is really later development on what this means. So, for example, the Council of Nicaea says of the same substance, homoousios. This concept was borrowed from pagan Egyptians, and it was contributed by Constantine as recorded by the historian Eusebius. Okay, so that's the problem here. He can be God, but he is not God by his identity. Right, he can be predicated the title theos just like other exalted human kings can, just like angels can.
What about the Alpha and the Omega?
They can share titles. That doesn't mean they are the same being or one in essence. Right, the Bible doesn't even use these words.
So because the Bible doesn't use those specific words, it can't be that.
No, so it could use different words to express the same concept. However, it doesn't do that either.
So when Jesus says he's one with his Father, it's not what the Trinitarians think.
Okay, so if Jesus is one with the Father, how do you know that doesn't mean Jesus is the Father?
Because he's praying to his Father in John 17.
Okay, so doesn't that mean that Jesus is not the Father?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. He's not.
Okay, so if the Father is the one true God and Jesus is not the Father, that actually proves our point that Jesus is not Yahweh. He's not God like the Father's God. John 17:3, Jesus speaking to the Father says, "And this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent," right? So the Father is the only true God. Jesus is the one he has sent. This is the same thing Paul says in 1 Corinthians 8:6. For there is one God, the Father,
when
and one Lord, Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Can I answer something too? Because when you hear all this language about being in the Father, or I'm in the Father, and I and the Father are one, like if you look at the same chapter in John 17:21, it says that all of them may be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us. So all this language about being one, so even when you look at the word one there, it's the neuter form of one. It's not talking about the same being. That neuter form means that they're one in purpose.
Yes.
That's what that
Okay,
means. And you
okay,
see that
so
all
let me-
throughout. So to understand what Jesus says in one place, you have to look at the whole book, not just isolate one verse and read your presuppositions into it.
Oh no, I absolutely agree, and I feel maybe that maybe from my perspective, I think you're cherry picking a little bit on verses where
Hold
it's
on.
showing where
We are?
Jesus is just one with his Father, but not distinctively one in being. I
Where
mean,
does
when you
the
read
text
John
say, if we're
17,
cherry picking, then show us in the text where it says one in being.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Where you go? He outed himself.
That's all right. There happens to be nowhere in the scriptures that it says one in being, so I probably would have dipped too.
Well,
nah,
we're about to shut this thing down anyway. We're about to shut this thing down. So, Lord saved. Unfortunately, you did get booted. I didn't boot you. I don't know if your phone died or what, but I'm
was
sorry
nice.
that you had to go because I think you were on to some getting somewhere with your argument, man. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that joined the stream today. I know it can be difficult for these long-winded streams, people that sit on and wait their turn, patience, and everything. He actually came back.
wait, there we go. Back.
Y'all
Okay,
know your phone.
What's
Y'all
up,
know
what's
your
up?
phone. I don't know if your
Okay.
phone died or what, man. Your phone all right, man?
Yeah, I should be good now. Y'all hear me, right?
Yep.
Yep, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay, sweet.
All right,
That's
continue your thought, man. You got 2 minutes.
Okay,
continue your thought, man.
Can I continue? What was the dude in the black hat? He was saying something. I was gonna continue.
There's something about I think you accused them of cherry picking verses, and I think Andrew was saying what verses
Right.
were they cherry picking.
So
yeah.
So what I was gonna say is that I'm gonna sit here and I'm also gonna cherry pick a little bit as well too, because why not?
No, hold on. You can't
not
accuse
calling
us
you
of something, not prove that we actually did it, and then use
Hold
that as
on.
a license to try to do it yourself.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Maybe you took that.
We didn't even bring up a verse. So how did we cherry pick?
Well, you brought up
We
John
responded with an
17:21,
example
John
within the
17:3.
text. I could bring you. Oh, how about this? Let's look at every single instance which talks about being one in the Gospel of John. So we're not cherry picking. You want to do that?
Bro.
Right.
Let me just bring it up. I got 2 minutes.
Right,
let me just say what I got.
You got it, man. Go for it.
I appreciate that. So in John 17:5, he's saying that he's asking the Father to give him the same glory he had at the beginning. Okay. And in the book of Hebrews, it talks about how Jesus had to submit his will to the Father. So when he became human, when he became a human being, he subjected himself to the Father. Being a human being, he had to subject himself to the Father. That's why the Father was his God. And when he's saying that in John 17:3, this is what you need to believe, that the Father is the true God. Well, it's because Jesus is a human being and the Father is his God. And when Jesus died and resurrected, well, Jesus is still subjected to the Father. But was that the case in the very beginning? No. In the very beginning, he was one with the Father. He was with the Father in the heavenly realms. It's only until he became a human being incarnate, that is when he subjected his will to the Father, and the Father became his God. This does not at all negate the fact that Jesus is still 100% God and 100% man, but it does show that,
that doesn't math.
That doesn't matter.
You're not one. You can't be 100% like opposites.
Why
It's
is
like I'm a 100% human and a 100% frog.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Why are you trying to forcibly comprehend an infinite God with your finite mind?
Okay, so
That's a
here's
cop
the
out.
thing. Yeah, and see, here's what you do.
It's a fair question.
No, it's not.
Okay, if
it's
you
fair
not a
at
fair
all.
question.
I
Why
can
is that not a fair
justify
question?
anything. I can make up any which thing about God.
No. I'm not saying you can't justify anything.
Listen,
I'm not saying that. What I'm asking is that because it doesn't make any sense, this doesn't necessarily mean it's not true.
Okay, but here's the thing.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You cannot say something is true or false unless you're going to present us with a logical proposition. That's how truth works.
So you want me to present? So you want me to present logical things to you? So
yeah, like we do for every other doctrine. Yeah.
If you're saying something is true,
well,
then you must
some
be able
doctrines
to
we don't
present
really
us with
like. Do you believe that Mary is the mother of God?
You're jumping, bro. But let's get back to
No.
your text in John
Fair
17. Okay, so you're talking about this glory that Jesus had with the Father before all time, right? That was your main question, right?
No, so I didn't ask a question. I was just giving a rebuttal to what you were saying.
So what is your question then? Is your question that, well, how can, even if something doesn't make sense, is it possible it's still true?
Yeah, is that the question?
Okay, but then you you forfeit the privilege of saying something is true if you could not present us with a logical proposition. So I can't say if something's true or not until I'm presented with a logical proposition. So if
I
you
never
present me and
actually asked
say,
a question.
what's that?
I never actually asked a question.
You did. You said, can something be true even if it doesn't make sense?
Oh, yeah. That
Okay,
was my question
okay,
after all
so
the
what
other
I would tell you is that if you can't demonstrate that something's coherent, then it's an irrational belief that you hold, and you can't claim it to be true. That's what.
No, that's not.
I mean, let me ask a question here though. Because you believe Mary was a virgin, right, when she gave birth to Jesus, right?
Yes.
Is that logically consistent? Is that logically reasonable for that to be possible?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so that's a miracle. Yeah, so there's a key distinction here, and it's about logical possibility, right? So God can do all things which are logically possible. So impregnating Mary is logically possible. In fact, we kind of even do that in a similar way through insemination. The Holy Spirit came upon Mary, and he fulfilled the role of the man.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess my point is that, but yeah, it's logically possible that she physically can conceive a child. Yeah, she has all the reproductive organs and things like that to do so. But don't you think the fact that you conceded that it was a miracle, don't you think that denotes and gives credit to the fact that it could be God can do another miracle and coming down in the form of flesh?
So I want to present real quick. Sorry, Mike.
No,
here's the difference, because it's a category area. I'll give you a perfect illustration. Let's say that we agree God created the cosmos, right? We agree that God created, and I can put forth a rational proposition or logical proposition. I could say that something never comes from nothing, and something exists, therefore it came from something. You could say, yeah, that's true. That's rational. But knowing every single detail about how God created is a whole different category. I don't need to know the details about how God created to say it's logical to believe that there's a God who exists and that he created everything. The same
So
thing
then you
with the
should
virgin
hold the
birth.
same
We
thing
could
with
say
the
that
Trinity as well too.
No,
I
it's
mean,
Yeah, that's
no,
you
no,
hold
no,
the
no.
same thing with the Trinity. as
These
well,
are
too.
no. I'll tell
I
you
mean,
right now. They're
those are
okay. So
that actual reason is literally how Trinitarians believe who God
No,
is.
it's not.
That's
No, it's not.
exactly how it
no,
is,
it's
bro.
not.
No, the
Okay,
That's
no,
literally how it is.
The
I mean, you
Trinitarians make
just
no.
explained
no,
why
the
Dude,
we
it's
believe
so
the
sad
three
that you think
persons
that,
in one
man.
God.
It's genuinely sad.
It's as clear as day. I mean,
I
you
mean,
don't
I,
have to believe every single detail of the
No, it's
actual
not every single
Godhead,
detail,
but you
bro. But
can
listen,
believe how
one
God
second.
revealed himself to
You
be.
make so you're making this claim, right? The Trinitarians will make a claim, for instance, God is one being in three persons. Okay, but I need to know what you mean by being. And I said this in my opening.
Well,
Do you
John
mean
4, God is a
Let
spirit.
him finish.
do
Okay,
you
I'm
mean
sorry. I'm
if
sorry.
any Trinitarian here, if you say God is one being in three persons, what do you mean by being? Do you mean that it has real ontological existence, or are you using it as a synonym for nature? And so
Well,
I need to know
they
what
do
you mean.
bear the
I can't
same divine
affirm or
nature.
deny. I can't affirm or deny what you're saying if it's unclear what you're presenting.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you,
and listen, there was a point in time where if you couldn't answer that question and you didn't, that your life could be on the line. Okay, how you understood God as one and three was heavily debated. People did lose their lives. Okay,
My
and
life is not on the line right now.
yeah,
To be honest
you're
with you,
right. And so
it's just
let me finish, please.
all
Let me
right.
finish. Okay, so that's super important because how you understand it can only be comprehended in heretical terms. Okay, you could say God was one and three if you thought that the three were modes or if you thought they were parts. That's logically consistent. You could hold God as one and three. Okay, but you reject these things. Okay, so they're off the table for you. So just appealing to a mystery is not evidence. Mystery can't be falsified. Okay, mystery is not a good argument. You lose this debate if you appeal to mystery.
Let's not appeal
all right,
to
guys.
mystery.
All
It's
right,
just,
we're gonna have to wrap this up. It's past my bedtime. I'm sorry, guys. Not bad, but I'm gonna have to wrap this. I am in the air. If I was in my own home, we can keep going. But
You
I'm
in a
currently in an
hotel?
Airbnb, so
Yeah, you
my
chilling?
family's a bit
Yeah,
compromised by my streaming right now. So
Fine.
with that said, unfortunately, I will have to shut this thing down, guys. And I appreciate all of you guys for jumping on and giving your arguments against the Unitarian position. And
Can I
obviously,
say
a special
one last
thanks.
thing, brother? Can I say one last thing? That's all. Please.
Man, you're gonna make Mike and Andrew respond, man. You're gonna make them respond.
Nah,
let's go keep going for
it's
another
just
10.
food. It's just food for thought, yo.
Oh man,
it's just food for
we're not
thought.
getting
nah.
Why would I hate? You guys give me-
No, let him close it out. His family's there. They want to go to sleep.
Yeah,
Let's leave
my
him be.
family.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you,
guys. All right, so but I appreciate you guys. Special thanks to Andrew and Mike for jumping on, man. Appreciate you guys for taking the onslaught, being in the hot seat, man. You know, perhaps we could do this again sometime, man. And I appreciate all you guys. So I'm gonna shut this thing down, man. You guys be good, all right?
Hey,
All right,
bless
thank you.
man.
You
God
too.
bless you, brother.
God bless.
All right.
God bless you
guys.
guys.
See y'all later. Take care. Take care. All right. Good stuff, guys. Appreciate everyone for jumping on the gospel truth. And as you can see, this is a temporary setup until we get our home. If you guys don't know and you guys are wondering, like, hey, why is Marlon not in his usual studio? Well, the fact the Wilsons have moved to Texas. And so, as you guys knew, anybody that's made a cross-state move, you guys know in the beginning of that move, you guys are sort of displaced. You don't have a home yet, right? You're sort of living in Airbnbs, you're living in hotels, you're living all over the place. So you're a bit displaced. But God is good, and He's going to give us a beautiful home here in the future. But all that said, thank everyone for joining us on the Gospel Truth. And if you have yet to do so, make sure you hit that like button. My understanding is that I had helped about 90 people in this chat, and they only had like 11 likes. So if you guys can like sort of hoard hit or stream hit that like button before you bounce out of the stream, I would really appreciate it. Let's get the algorithm up so other people can see this discussion. And if you have yet to do so, make sure you subscribe to the Gospel Truth. And also, if you don't know, the God's Truth is putting on a conference as well. The TGT Conference 2026. It's a debate conference. It's going down in Dallas, Texas, and it's going down February 6th and February 7th of next year. So go the links to and everything to buy tickets for the conference. If you're a big debate fan, theology fan, you get to meet a lot of your favorite apologists and favorite theologians, you know, and you get to meet a lot of people that you only see online, you know. So this is your opportunity to come out and see debates that maybe you've never seen a live debate before. You're like, man, I want to experience that. You know, make sure you hit you're going, right? I'm still debating if there's even going to be an online option, right? That's how much I want you guys to actually physically go. I would love to meet you physically. I would love for you to meet all your favorite theologians and your apologists physically as well. So the links to those to the event page to buy tickets is all over the Facebook page of TGT, the X or Twitter X T for TGT, all over Instagram and all over Facebook. I think I said Facebook already, and all over YouTube as well. So if you have yet to do so, man, go buy your tickets, man. Please go buy your tickets because seats are filling up really fast, and I would hate for you to miss out because you procrastinated too long, right? And it's early bird too. It's $60 a ticket. In about I think in about 20-something days, the beginning of November, the ticket prices jump all the way up to $70. So get your tickets now and make sure that you go. Right? Make sure you go. I would love to meet you. But all that said, I am done for tonight. And I appreciate once again everyone who jumped on. I know everyone didn't get the amount of time that maybe JP and Seth had, but JP and Seth jumped on first, and they have the right to entertain and engage with Andrew and Mike. And so I thank for everyone for their patience as well. I know people waiting and sort of hearing things. It can be a little frustrating and tiring just sitting there waiting. But I appreciate everyone, all of you, all those who gave super chats. I appreciate you. If anybody became a member of the Gospel Truth, I appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. Everyone out there, you just don't know how much your support helps, especially concerning the conference. Conferences are extremely expensive, and every dime we can get through the ministry is going to help build towards the conference, man. So I thank you guys once again. And if you yet to do so, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so to miss all the shows that are coming up here on the Gospel Truth. And I look forward to seeing you next time. All right. May God bless you.